Hello and welcome to episode 95 of the Talk Nintendo podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Casey Gibson, and joining me this fine evening, as always, the one, the only, Mr. Perry Burkham.
I survived the holiday.
Or should I say, Jerkum?
No, Burkham's fine.
Yes. How was your 4th of July?
It was great. Yeah, I grilled out twice at two different families.
Well, look at this guy with his double grill.
I was so full. Oh, it was great.
Yeah, my 4th of July wasn't too bad. Caitlin was working, so I pretty much just kicked it all day.
In heaven?
Yeah, I kicked it in heaven for a little bit. Actually, I worked on that challenge and stuff last week, but then went over to my friend's house, and we went swimming and had some hot dogs, like every fine American should on 4th of July. I feel like you gotta have a hot dog.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you know, like burger, sure, burgers are great too, and, chicken or whatever. You need that. It just feels like a hot dog has to be consumed on the 4th of July, but maybe that's just me.
And you should also have a hot dog, a hot panting dog.
Now you just made this perverted. You sicko.
Speaking of perverted, we've had a couple of, every like 6 months, I think, oh yeah, I should check the reviews on iTunes. Because, you never know. And we've had a couple of really, really funny ones. This past one, which I like, one of them is Larry Jerry.
Old Larry Jerry?
Larry Jerry, yeah, he says, not just a podcast, a way of life. And he gave us 5 stars. He says, by far the most incredible podcast I've ever listened to. Before this podcast, I didn't even know what Nintendo was, but this is riveting. I am amazed. I am now a part of a special religious group known for worshiping Nintendo and its creators. All thanks to you guys. You have transformed my life, and for that I will forever be grateful. You painted vivid pictures of the rich complexities and poetic beauty of the gaming world. It's a cherished activity and lifestyle I will pass down for generations. Live long and prosper, and hail Nintendo.
Well,
you're welcome.
I'd like to. Yeah, it sounds like we're running some sort of cult here.
Yeah. Yep. And then we got this other one.
Alrighty, let's hear it.
Okay, 3 thumbs up from Too Cool for School. Individually, these two lads have zero talent or charisma, but put them on a podcast together and you get a miraculous synergy. The riffing, the jest, the quality discussion, the deep personal connection they make with the audience makes this a 5-star podcast. Hands down, 3 thumbs up.
I love it. Yeah, individually, they have zero talent or charisma.
And
you know what? I couldn't agree with them more. We were two hopeless saps.
Yeah, well, you were, but yeah. But
that's awesome.
Those are funny.
I love it.
If you want to leave us a funny review, we will read it out. Just make it a 5-star review.
Yeah.
Don't be like those gym bots that left us. Oh yeah, right here. I got it. 1 star. We got a 1 star. The rest are 5 stars. 1 star. Enjoyed the show until they talked about screwing people over. Scalpers are the worst, intention or not.
Well,
dirty scalpers.
You are a dirty Craigslistman, so.
It's so funny. 2 wild and crazy guys. Anyway.
2 wild
Casey.
And crazy guys.
I know. I don't know who these people are. Oh, I see Estuardo's.
I hate these 2 Jimmies.
Yeah. Oh, man. Anyway.
Games.
Yes,
Nintendo.
Games.
Video games.
Right. Right. I thought that'd be funny to start off the old podcast with a funny laugh. Right?
You just started it off with some shilling for some reviews. I know your plans.
Shh. Casey, we're on a team together.
Yep, but I'm for the people.
Well, speaking of for the people, I know you've been continuing to play a game where you shoot people.
Yes, Nazis specifically.
Wonderful.
Yeah, this is going to be sort of a quick bite here. Some more Wolfenstein II as I sort of push through to the end. I believe I'm sort of at the last section. I've actually died a few times, and then I was just like, you know what, I'm going to pick this back up tomorrow and probably ring it out, which at this point probably means I'll pick it up actually tomorrow from this point, and probably finish on Wednesday.
You know, you probably get it done on your first try.
Yeah, no problems. But you know what it is? It's just like I was trying to rush through that part, so I was doing the guns ablazing strategy, and it works sometimes, but it doesn't always work. And like this section is particularly long, so it's like you sort of have to go through like a few different choke points of like a lot of enemies. And like if you run through one sort of firing at the hip, you can usually get through, but when you sort of get to that point where there's just like a whole flood, you got to be a little bit more methodical about making your approach across the way there. But I guess just to sort of give my, now I've really sat down, like I said, I think the game is about 10 hours long, so I'm probably about, 9 hours in. And I got it's great. I really love it. The story is just ridiculous. It is so nonsensical in the greatest way ever. The cutscenes are superb. I was like, it was one of those. I'm not even gonna set the table of what the cutscene was, but it was just like there was a tense moment coming up, and it was just this amazing cutscene beforehand. That it's just so good. And like I said, what's the best with the gameplay is that you could really approach any given area a number of ways. You can try and be more stealthy and sneak around and try and, take out as many enemies as you can without sort of tripping the lieutenants or generals for rallying for more people to come. So it's... But then if you don't feel like doing that, you could go in with, your biggest guns and just blast everyone to pieces, So I really like how it sort of lets you dictate how you play. And what's great about that is you can... switch it up on the fly. So it's like, I'm sneaking around. You know what? I don't want to sneak around anymore. I'm just going to jump in there, and you won't have any problems doing so.
Enough of this bull honky.
Yes, sir. And upgrading the weapons is fun. You find sort of upgrade kits around. And what's so funny over there, Jimmy?
I was moving my chair.
It sounded like a snickering. You're like...
No, listen.
Look at this idiot playing Wolfenstein wrong.
No.
But yeah.
I think someone's has a guilty conscience.
Yeah. Oh, I'm doing it all wrong. I shouldn't have died so many times last night. But yeah, I mean, some of the guns are just so satisfying to use. And in the beginning, I was sort of sticking to one, and then now it's just with the upgrades, like I think I mentioned last week that the one upgrade like made it a nail gun, so it shoots not as quickly, but it does more like piercing damage to heavily armored units. And it's just so much fun to switch between the one gun shoots off like little like sticky grenades almost, and then by hitting the L trigger explodes them. So it's so much fun when like a big, a hulking enemy with all sorts of armor comes up, and you just fire 3 sticky grenades on him, and it would take like 100 bullets to take this guy down, but just a couple of those sticky ones, you hit it, and they go like literally flying across the room because they exploded. And their armor scatters around on the ground for you to pick up. Oh, God. I can't wait. When I beat this game, I'm sending it to Perry to play because he was kind enough to get me some discount Joy-Cons thanks to the fine folks over at Walmart and their pricing error.
Thanks to the fine people at Villa de Discount.
Villa de Discount. Oh, they're the beautiful... I guess they're technically the Splatoon Joy-Cons, but we like to call them the Talk Nintendo Joy-Cons.
The Talk Nintendo Joy-Cons, yes.
The green, the green is a little bit more neon than the box would sort of imply.
I know, it is so different than the box. It is so different.
But I don't hate it. I don't hate it. And what I love
it's
about
awesome.
getting a new set of Joy-Cons is it really feels like you've gotten a new Switch. Like, you know, when you're playing
because,
the
yes.
3DS, it was like
it's like a new controller, you know? So it's like...
it's so good. And it looks so good. They're so colorful. Oh, I love it. Thank you again.
I know, man. And you know what's great is changing up the stuff. Like, I love how I have my Switch now is I have the green from the Splatoon and the blue from the Neon. So I have those two, and it's awesome. And then on my other Switch, I have the pink and the red. And it looks awesome on Jill's Switch.
Yeah, I can't wait
Very
to...
colorful.
Right now, I'm still really enjoying the new colors, but I'm looking forward to mixing in the old yellow cons into the fold, too.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, Wolfenstein II, definitely a very fun game that I'm really enjoying. And, like I said, I look forward to seeing what you think once I send it your way.
Well, speaking of another game that you've been really enjoying, I have also been enjoying another game.
What game's that?
You like that segue?
Is it Wolfenstein 2?
It's Bomb Chicken. Yes, Bomb Chicken, the game that is not made by Jules Watsham, but seems like it should be, based on the name.
Yeah, chicken and bombs and...
It's Chicken Wiggle and Bomb Monkey put together. Not really. Actually, it's not actually... It's almost is, actually, now that I think about it. It's not a bad comparison. So, Bomb Chicken, what this is, it's this gorgeous looking pixel platforming game where you play as a chicken, but you don't jump. The only thing you can do is you poop out bombs beneath you.
You don't poop them, you lay them.
No. There's this big cutscene where you see... No, I'm just
Do you
kidding.
see it come out of the rectum? in all that pixelated goodness? You're a sick pervert, Perry.
You're the sick pervert. You're the one that just said it. No, it's no. You lay bombs, and there is a little cutscene that shows you why and like what happened and stuff. Anyway, but you can lay infinite bombs. There's no. You can boom. You can just as much as you want, and you'll grow taller. So you have these stacks, and then like after a few seconds, they'll go off. So obviously, it's a one-hit kill. So you're dead if you get hit once. Okay, so with that in mind, it plays kind of like Box Boy.
You know? All right.
So it's like a puzzle. It's like a puzzle plot. It's a puzz form. Now, like with it's level based and room based. So you'll go through rooms and then you can collect these blue gem things that if you collect enough of them, then once you get in between the levels, you can upgrade to get another heart so that you can
take 2 hits.
Well, no, it's still a one-hit death, but basically you go through a series of rooms and then you get to the end. But if so once you get through a room, that's a checkpoint. But so the hearts are basically lives. They're really what they are. They're lives. So you start off with 1 life, and if you die, then it's a game over, and you got to go back to the beginning of the level. So you keep adding a life, so that way you can die.
Prolong it a little bit.
Yeah, like I have like you have 6, and you can have up to 6 lives to die because this game is really hard. It's not easy. You look at it, and it's the cutest little chubby chicken that's walking around. It's adorable and really funny. Really great characterization. Everything looks gorgeous. It's just it's exactly my kind of game. Like when you think about my favorite, it's just like beautiful, crisp graphics and then everything. The sounds are really funny and great.
I bet it looks fantastic in handheld.
Oh, yes, exactly. It has that Blaster Master Zero sheen. That's my example, my textbook example of the Switch sheen of pixels. But yes, it looks so good. And so, like I said, yeah, the biggest thing that kind of surprised me about the game is it's really hard because it's kind of like has the charm of Kirby, this little chubby ball character that runs across the stage.
Does he almost waddle?
Yes. Yeah, he waddles.
I like it.
Yes, and
this
and
this game looks super cool.
Oh, it's awesome, and you make your way, and it uses a lot of, so you can poop out your bombs and then you can shove them from the side, and you can lay your bombs and then shove them from the side, and then it'll push it across the screen, and then you can explode things across the screen, use it as defense. There's enemies that you can jump on, and then just it does exactly what you think of in a video game. It mixes stuff up, mixes enemies up, does different sorts of when I say I mean, there's very light puzzle elements. It's mostly
more of a platformer
action,
but
it's really more of an action game. Yeah,
I guess the puzzle would be like trying to figure out how to lay the bombs to successfully get over an area or whatever.
Exactly. So it totally is puzzling, and it is cool to think about the best way, because it's great how that simple mechanic,
how many ways they can play with it.
Yes. I mean, they do a really good job, and really, you don't get any other upgrades at all. You just get lives. So there's no upgrades to yourself. So you might think, oh no, like that sounds bad, because it's like it might get boring, and it doesn't get boring. I mean, they really do a great job. The game's not super long, but I mean, it's perfect. It's just a perfect length, and
it doesn't overstay its welcome.
Gets old. No, not at all. And it's just I don't know. It's a perfect fit for the Switch, because it's played just as good on the go as on TV. I'm reviewing it. All right, by this time this episode is posted, I will have had the review up on NintendoWorldReport.com and on NWR TV for the video review. And check it out. It is definitely a very cool game.
Awesome.
I don't know if you have any more questions.
No, I don't think so.
I mean, it's just it's
like you said, it's
really
one of those games. Like, I'm just excited to get in there. I'm hoping, like you said, it comes out this week. Might be rough with timing, but that is definitely on my radar to check out. Because, like you said, it just looks like dumb fun,
Yeah, it's made by Nitrome, and I looked them up, and they have like 1 billion games. I didn't realize they make a lot of mobile games and stuff. I was like, oh, interesting, because it does not seem like someone that like it has come out of a company that
makes mobile games.
It seems like a game.
Primarily.
Well, not makes mobile games, but that's made a lot of games. It kind of seems like it plays like it's a passion project that's been made by some people over the past couple of years, or a few years, and it probably is. I mean, I don't exactly know the story.
Maybe that's like you said. Maybe it was a passion project. Like they're working on the other games, and then sort of their spare time came together.
Yeah, definitely. It's something that looked cool, and I think ever since we saw it, I was excited for it. So in that Nindy showcase thing. So,
when I saw that chicken lay like 6 eggs, bombs, it was all over. Mm-hmm. I was in. Hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah. And
but speaking of bombs, Perry.
Yes.
I've been playing a little game, and this segue should actually work, because it makes sense.
Slinger?
Yeah. Yeah. I finally got the slinger. No, I've been playing Bomber Crew. Yes, Bomber Crew. Now, let me ask you, Perry, do you know anything at all about this game?
I watched a video when we were looking for reviewers.
You're like, nope.
No, I thought it looked cool, but I really didn't understand what it was. Like after watching the video. Yeah, because it's kind of weird, right?
Yeah, so
it's like a sim, right?
Yeah, so what this game is, it is a simulator. I believe it bills itself as a strategy tactical simulator or something weird. But essentially, yes. So World War II, and you are a part of the bomber crew. So what you're going to do is the whole game plan is essentially you formulate a crew and you guys take missions and you go out and you fulfill the missions, come back, and you get points for experience points and stuff for doing that. Now, how that's done is very micromanaged. So you're going to have a team of seven crew members, each with a different job, although I guess there are two. I'm trying to think if I can remember off the head. There's like the pilot, the navigator, there's the engineer, a bomber, a gunner. And then one more because you actually have two gunners. But each of them sort of has like their own role that they're good at. Any crew member can do any job on the ship, but an engineer is going to repair things much quicker than a gunner. So you sort of have your set roles and like, okay, I know who needs to do what. So when you're out on the missions, you start on the runway and you start by selecting the pilot, hitting takeoff, then you raise up the landing gear, and then how you travel is you don't actually control the plane how you would think. Like when you think maybe a flight simulator, like, oh, I'm going to be sort of behind the cockpit taking, I'm going to be doing loops and stuff. But the way this game is...
Loop-de-loops and flipperty-jibbing.
So, you have a navigator, and pretty much every couple of seconds maybe it's 5-10 seconds, they'll ping like a new spot on the map that's towards your objective. So when that comes up, what you do is you go into tag mode, which you hit the right trigger, and it brings up sort of like a viewfinder, and then you could sort of, you move it around with the left stick, and you highlight the little icons. So you'll tag the location, and it'll be like, okay, moving towards that way, and then the plane will sort of take flight that way. Tagging is also big when it comes to other enemies that fly in. You'll tag them so that your gunners can fire at them. And these are not difficult tasks to fulfill. It's like tagging is very simple. But the challenge is when you start getting towards the location and things start going crazy, that it becomes like a bunch of smaller things that adds up, you know what I mean? It's almost like a death by 1,000 paper cuts. So it's just like, there's just always something going on. So as you're getting into battle, it's like, okay, now we're taking enemy fire, so we need to tag the enemies. We got to sort of keep tagging the area we want to go to. And most of the missions require you to just sort of bomb a target. Obviously, bomber crew, you'd think that'd be sort of the main thing. So sometimes it's bombing a facility. Sometimes it's bombing U-boats. And again, how you do this is you tag that object, and when you get close to it, it'll come up and it'll have a bullseye. You're like, okay, that's what I need to take out. And then you'll send your bomber to their location, and then you're going to have to open the door, select the bombs, and then you'll have like a little viewfinder, and you can sort of see when you're over it, and then you drop the bombs. Then, like I said, none of these are very difficult tasks to do, but when it all starts swirling at you at one time, that's where it's like, okay, that's when it becomes challenging, because, again, like, these don't sound too bad, but now your hydraulic system's breaking, and your electrical, like, your power went out. So what you need to do is select the engineer to fix those things, and when those are broken, like, you can't drop bombs, you can't fire, you can't land. So it's like, it starts becoming like, oh crap, now this is broken, which is preventing me from dropping the bombs, and I'm right over the target, So it's like trying to sort of manage it and get things done quickly and efficiently, so you don't doesn't mess up the actual objective. Now, when it comes to actually controlling the units, what you do is you have a list of your crew members on the left, and by holding B, you can shuffle between them. Then you're going to hit R, and you use the stick to move them within the plane. It gives you like a nice side view angle, like side profile of it. And it was a little tough in the beginning. I was like, this is annoying to sort of get them to go exactly where you want. But then I actually was reading online, because this has come out, I think, for PC a while ago. So there's, people had some tips and pointers. If you use the D-pad, it actually snaps on to the different key locations on the ship. because essentially on the ship, like you have the turrets, you have like the navigator's chair, the pilot's chair, and you have like stagnant points that are important, you know. So when you were trying to sort of move them just using the joystick, it was sort of easy to get next to it and send them over there, but not actually be on it, you know. So if anyone picks this game up, the D-pad is your friend. Like, it made it way more enjoyable just being able to, and more efficient because, like I said, when things are going fast, it's so much easier to shuffle just using that D-pad opposed to, like, trying to use the analog stick and get it right on there.
Right. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Pro tip.
Boom, boom. But it's cool because then you'll have enemy or your crew members who get shot and they'll die, and you'll have to send another crew member to pick up a med kit and bring it to that person to bring them back to life. You have like an area you can heal on the ship as well. And if your ship crashes, you can actually like grab parachutes to have a better chance to survive. And that sort of comes into the whole roguelite elements of this game, which I would say are probably the best feature, or the coolest aspect to me, at least.
Ooh, roguelites, you say?
Yes.
Roguelite. I am intrigued.
Roguelite.
Yeah, that's why I said roguelites.
Yes, okay. It sounded like you said like. I was like, I know, the big debate, you know. But, so the way this comes in is that your crew members and your plane are sort of unique. When you lose a member of your crew, or if you lose the whole crew, you have an area that brings in recruits, and it's funny, they'll give you a few different options, and like each recruit sort of has a little different abilities and sort of stats. Like some might deal with like the cold a little bit better, but they'll be slower, you know, their movement speed. And it's not really much there, but it is enough to be like, okay, you can sort of pick your team. And as you complete missions, they'll level up and they'll gain new abilities, which are important. Like the one turret, the gunners, they unlock something called Focus, which, you know, increases their accuracy for a short period of time, which is obviously good when you're out in the battlefield. One of the navigator will have like auto tag, which is really nice because when things are getting crazy, it's nice to just be able to hit that and not have to manually tag everything. But if your crew members die, then they're dead and you have to go to a new recruit. Now, initially when I sort of saw this, I was like, because I, you know, sort of in the beginning getting used to it, I crashed one of my ships on like one of the easier missions, you know, so like they hadn't really leveled up too much. And I was like, man, this seems like when you get later in the game, it would be bad because like all of your crew members would suck, you know. But as you progress through the game, and like my crew members, you get up to level 5, 6, all of a sudden the recruits are starting at like level 3, 4, you know. So it's like they have a little, you know, a little space that they need to sort of catch back up to, but it's not like you start fresh at level 1, because that would just, that would be almost unfair, because then you'd have to grind out a bunch of sort of easier missions to get back to par. With the ship is sort of similar. The ship is the most fun to upgrade. Well, actually, before I get to the plane, I should say, the crew, you can also customize their outfits. And as you complete more missions, you unlock better gear. And it's cool because there is that element of, okay, so my pilot, by theory, should never leave the pilot seat, right? They're driving the plane. Like, they got to stay there. So you don't need to worry about their speed. So you can sort of deck them out in, like, the heaviest gear that has the most armor, most defense, you know. They, like I said, they don't really move. But the engineer, he's sort of running around the ship all over the place repairing things. So it's like, you want to make sure that he can move quickly, because obviously, if an engine's on fire, he needs to get over to that extinguisher and then get out and put the fire out, you know. So you want him to be able to move quickly. So it's fun to, yeah, it's fun to sort of outfit the crew members accordingly. But like I said, for me, upgrading the plane was the best because there are so many things. I mean, you've got 4 engines. You upgrade them individually. You can upgrade like the armor in like, okay, the rear, the mid-rear, mid-front wings. Like there's so many options to customize. You can upgrade the turrets so that you don't have to reload them. They just auto-reload. just all sorts of different things. You can customize like the color and the decals as well to make it sort of personalized, your own ship there too. So that was the most fun to me, was tinkering with the ship after you got back from each mission. When you crash your plane, I don't know how they dictate exactly how your next plane is, but at first, again, I was worried, like, oh, am I going to have to start fresh on this plane? Because the upgrades are expensive. You know, doing a successful mission, you can maybe get an upgrade or two, and then as you progress further, you know, upgrades start to cost a lot of money, so it becomes like, I was like, man, how is this going to work if you crash your plane? But it seems like they just give you random upgrades, like a random generated plane, essentially, that isn't quite, again, up to exactly where you were upgrade-wise, but, like, maybe a step behind. So usually whenever I crash my ship, I would sort of take on an easier mission to sort of restock my gold and my crew members' experience and sort of try and get back to the footing I was at before. And I guess to wrap it up, where I should mention exactly how the missions work. I touched on it. They're pretty similar throughout. There are short missions, medium missions, you know, longer missions, and when you go to the briefing room, you can usually pick, I think it was always 3 missions. I guess there's sometimes maybe 4 that you could pick from, and, you know, they each have their difficulty. And as you do a couple of missions, and eventually you unlock a critical mission, which is sort of how the game pushes forward. Because when you're in the HUD, you'll see like it almost looks like an experience bar with like checkpoints along it, and like as you're beating missions, you'll get to that critical mission. When you complete that, you sort of move to the next bar, and then you want to obviously push and beat the game by getting through all of them, but that's how it works as far as the progression goes. It gives you the option to just keep farming and grinding out sort of easier quests until you get to that critical level, critical mission. You complete that, and those are usually pretty darn tough. You beat those, then you move on. It's like, okay, now I'm into the next tier. Everything's going to be a little bit more difficult, you know, and you keep moving up that way. But yeah, the missions are usually always like, hey, fly here, drop the bomb, fly back. Or like, hey, fly here, take some pictures, which is almost done identically. You know, you put your bomber in the chair and they take a picture instead of dropping a bomb. And there are some missions that throw in like, oh, here comes some ace pilots, take them out to get extra points. And like, you know, some extra little things crop up during missions, but, you know, by large, it was pretty similar styled missions, which they were fine, but I guess for me, it's like sometimes they were just a little too long, you know, like it took too long to get to the mission, to the objective, and then too long to get back. And there is like a little fast forward option, but it's really only for when you just take off, because you're flying out of England or some sort of like London or whatever. So like, and you're flying over to like the German area. So like you're over English territory, and you could fast forward. But once you hit like the water, then it's like, all right, then you're sort of back into normal speed. And it's just like, you look at the navigator, and it's like estimated time of arrival, like 5 minutes. And you're like, oh, because I know like 3 of these minutes are going to be relatively like tagging, maybe a couple enemies. And then it's not going to get crazy till you get real close to the objective. So that's a little disheartening. Was like, oh, I wish I could fast forward a little bit longer, you know?
Right.
But this game's tough. It has a very cutesy exterior. One that you might look at and be like, oh, that looks like it could be a fun game. And then you sort of get in there, and it's a pretty punishing simulator. It is tough, especially when you get later in the game, but it is fun as far as, like I said, I really enjoyed upgrading the planes and stuff. And the missions, like I said, while sometimes a little too long and repetitive, they're not bad. You know, you get in there and there's stuff to do, and when you get into it, it is a successful, it feels a good feeling when you successfully complete a mission. So if you're into Sims, it's definitely worth checking out.
That satisfying part of the game.
Oh yeah, no, like I said, especially those missions when there's another ace pilot and he's gonna follow you pretty far back. You know, like when I said those sort of the tail end of the missions or sort of drag a little bit, like, oh, just waiting to get back. When an ace pilot was involved, they usually give you a pretty good chase. So it's like, oh god, like I hope I survive, you know. And there were a few times when the plane has like holes all throughout it, and you're just barely getting back to base. But it's a good feeling to finally be like, oh, he's gone. I completed this mission. I'm gonna make it back. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. If you're into the simulators and you want a tough game, I'd at least check out. I mean, I did the review. Obviously, you can check out on Nintendo World Report.
Yeah, I was gonna say check it
out.
But
yeah, definitely worth giving a peep.
Don't let the cute exterior fool you. This is a demanding sim.
Yes, sir. That sounds like someone, a good writer wrote that, or some Jimmy pretending to be one.
Well, speaking of good writers, let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we're gonna have the good old you-know-what.
Yes, sir.
We're back with the eShop Roundup, and again, you can watch this on Nintendo World Report TV or NWR TV, the video version, if you'd like. And if you are watching the video version, I just want to let you know, this is actually a segment from the Talk Nintendo podcast that we're kind of isolating and releasing as its own video.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, we got some comments on our last video about what what they thought of it, and they were really nice, and we really appreciate them. And just want to let everyone know, like, just exactly what this is it is us relaxed and looking through the eShop at the new games coming out.
It's a fun romp through the eShop.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I know some people were looking for maybe a more researched take on the eShop here, so we can, do a little bit more discussion on each game. But yeah, since this is sort of our fun podcast section, a heads up on that's why it's sort of a more not lightheaded, but light-hearted
there you go.
adventure. Yeah. Although, perfect. You know what? I get lightheaded from all these games each and every week.
Like this first game, Nico Para Volume 1.
Yes. Yeah.
Casey, are you a perv ball?
I don't know.
'Cause I've got the game for you.
Hey. We might have some people who want to play this game. They're not all perv balls.
Just kidding.
Judgy McJudgerton.
Mike Judge.
Yep. You judger. But moving on to the next game here.
There's a girl named Chocola.
We've got Assault Gunners HD Edition Complete Set for $10.79. It is currently 10% off. Normal price $11.99. Looks like a nice little mech battler game. We've got in these bundles contents, you've got the HD edition of the game, and you also have the extra pack, which is some DLC goodness, I guess. Yeah. The
game kind of has like the low texture thing going for it, but yeah.
Yeah, it looks like a PS. It looks sort of like a PS2 game. Like,
yeah, it does. Yeah.
But yeah, cool.
With HD. All right. Well.
Third week in a row we've talked about this game.
Is it really?
Yep, because it's Chapter 3.
You're right. Chapter 3 of The Journey Down for $19.99. I still haven't really read up on this series, but it is very interesting to me.
Yeah, I don't know. The art style looks interesting. Sort of in like the cities look cool and vibrant colors. But yeah, I don't really know too much about what the actual story is, but it must be pretty big chunks, $19.99 per chapter, it seems. So.
Well, man, you look at the screenshots in there. I mean, they're very varied and really cool. So.
Yeah, the character design's pretty cool too.
Yep. So it's an arcade puzzler. Looks cool. Next up, though, we have Yuso.
Yuso what?
Yeah, Yuso Silly.
For $7.99, this is a puzzle-popping action game, baby. pop those puzzles.
It looks very clean.
Yeah,
Oh,
yes.
I almost bought it.
Yeah, do it.
I wouldn't be bad with that. You've probably heard of me, the Adonis of the Stars. Anyway, this is a cute looking game.
Next up here, we've got Super Rock Blasters for $13.99. Now this, it sort of looks like an Asteroids type game, but it looks more maybe level-based. It's sort of cool. You got like the very black and white of the, looks like asteroids, you know, and then you've got these colors coming from the ship that look very nice and vibrant, sort of neon colors. Looks pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, totally. It's like
you
a
can blast
Geometry
your
Wars.
friends to smithereens.
I like doing that. For $13.99. Next up, though, we have Ultra Space Battle Brawl, which looks like it could have been the name for that previous game. Yeah, with a guy with an amazing 4-pack.
Aggression with dignity.
Amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, it actually, I guess from the screenshots here, it looks like you're going to have to sort of, I don't know, destroy the other person's crystal or something
This
to that.
looks amazing.
But it looks like the crystal is sort of protected by some other, like one level sort of has a real long crystal. Are those chickens with afros?
I think so.
Oh, this game looks crazy. All right. Interesting.
Moving
Moving along, though, we've got Squid's Odyssey. Normally $14.99. It is currently 20% off for $11.99. Now, this is, you're going to build your team of squid heroes for an epic turn-based battle against, oh no, the corrupted crabs, man. But, yeah, looking at the level design here, the art looks really cool with, like, in the towns and stuff, or the map layouts. Look pretty interesting.
Yeah, I've heard some good stuff about this game. It's pretty adorable.
Very nice. What do we got next, Perry?
Next up, we have Kill the Bad Guy.
Isn't that every video game?
Yeah.
Just about?
It should be. If it's a good one.
Does everyone deserve a second chance? Can crimes ever be forgotten, Perry?
No. Well, should they be forgotten?
I like the one screenshot. You've got like a manhole cover blasting up with water and someone's flying through the air. Interesting. Yeah, very looks all black and white and gray, and except for the main character here, who's got some color to him. So interesting.
$6.99. Now, next up, Johnny Turbo's back with his arcade, and we have Two Crude Dudes, which used to be the name of this podcast.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, until we found each other. Two Crude Dudes. I love it. I love it. Now, these guys are some bad boys. Hey, we've made it. We've got a big prize. Interesting. This, oh, it looks awesome in the best kind of way.
Yeah, it does.
But
very buff.
Moving along here, we've got Awkward for $11.99.
From Snap Finger Click.
Now this, just based off the images here, some sort of adventure game, or is it adventure game or is it a party game? 1 to 6, I guess. Yeah, more party board like. Yeah, okay.
It was political correctness gone mad.
The doc. Choose your answer. What part of your partner do you prefer? Their body, their face? I'll leave that one up to you, Perry. Moving along here, though, we've
50%.
got a game everyone should be checking out, and that is Miles and Kilo from our good friends over at Four Horses. I think this one was, how much do you remember?
$7.99.
Oh.
And if you hurry right now, you can get
Kid Trip, baby,
for free when you buy it. And oh, guys, this game is so good. Everyone, I have a bunch of friends that have bought it, and they love it, and they have told me that they love it. And so it's a great game. Please go get it. It's so much fun, and you can beat it and feel good about yourself.
Yeah, it's one of those games you can see the end in probably just a couple hours, but it's a real fun couple hours, and if if you're anything like us, you're gonna go, oh, I need to get S ranks on all these, and that'll put you to the test for a little bit too.
That it's gonna be one of those annual or biannual games for me where I play through it again.
Oh, it is. It is a good one.
It's really fun. So, but next up, going through to a completely different kind of game, we have Disease: Hidden Object, which is a great name for $7.99.
Now this looks. Yeah, I was gonna say this looks like the adventure game that I mentioned a little too early on that last one, and this is definitely an adventure game.
Yes. Is what you see real or just a hallucination? Ooh, a former doctor wanders in two worlds while doubting himself.
Look at those poor little kitties. What are they doing? It's sort of interesting, like the two screenshots they show it sort of like regular, and then like the sick twisted version where you got like a creepy clown coming up, and like this game looks weird, looks strange.
I'm scared, Casey. Can we move on?
Well, you might have been scared, but let me tell you, we've got the comfort of it being another week because we've got Neo Geo served up Samurai Showdown 5 for $7.99, the old hamster toss price.
Look at the hair.
Man, look at these
This
Neo
is the
Geo
best
games.
hair of any video game.
I feel like you could pretty much say the same exact thing about a Neo Geo game. Looks beautiful.
Oh my goodness. Look at that one with a huge guy on the left.
Oh, with this head?
Is that a fighter?
Maybe he's like a boss. Yeah.
Yeah.
He takes up like the whole screen.
Look at the bones coming out of his arm.
And his
That
back.
is so
look, you can see his spine.
Yeah.
And his ribs too, really.
That's wicked. That's scary.
Very good.
Wow.
Very good.
Very cool game. Anyway, speaking of cool games, I've heard a lot of good stuff about Mushroom Wars 2 from Zillion Whales. Fast-paced, real-time strategy, and actually, it's a really cool-looking game.
Yeah, I love the
The name kind of sounds like it sounds like mobile game to me, you know. But then you see the art, and it's these toadstools that
they look so epic with the little armor and stuff. Like he's ready to take on the world. I believe John Raridan has a review up on the site if you're interested in that one.
Well, there we go.
Assault
Coming
Runners HD edition. We already did this. This the standalone, $8.99.
Runner.
What's up?
Assault Gunner, not Runner.
Gunner, runner, potato. Moving on to the one we didn't talk about yet.
Ooh,
Pocket Rumble from the old Chucklefish for $9.99.
I think I need to pick this up. It's $9.99. It's only $9.99, and I believe it's online play. And I want to play with you. We should do a Talk to Nintendo challenge on this game.
Does it have online play?
I believe it does.
Are you absolutely positively sure?
Well, yeah. Let's see.
Yeah, it says 2 players, parentheses online,
near flawless
and local.
online player. Yep. With GGPO netcode. So, there you go.
Well, I tell you what, I would not
have
have been interested in this game if it didn't have online. So we might have to look into that. We might have to look into that.
It'd be fun to play, right? So, anywho,
next up here, what do we got?
The Wardrobe. This is from Mixed Bag for $14.99. It's a 2D point-and-click adventure game. This is point-and-click day.
Do you see the guitar urinal on the wall?
Yeah. That's awesome.
Born to Rot. That's so funny. Interesting. Yeah, is it what kind of game is this? Adventure game?
It's a 2D point-and-click.
Yeah, adventure, yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Not my kind of game, but looks interesting enough.
It looks very cool. Yeah, it looks very fun and animated.
Next up, we've got Rento Fortune Monolith, which looks like
Rento. Rento.
I need that Rento, baby.
Looks like Monopoly.
Yeah, it looks like a hard riff
beer
off of the Monopoly board game here.
Earthquake hits. Pay $100 for repairs.
Pay Rento.
Yeah, pay Rento.
$9.99. Yeah. If you want Monopoly but don't want to buy Monopoly, I guess you could buy Rento.
Or if you have $9.99, you could pay for Another World.
A whole nother world.
A whole new world. Yes. This is the one of the most remarkable games in the history of video games, apparently.
That's a tall set of shoes to fill.
Yeah, I've heard about this game so much. It's been released on so many things. Like, it was on Wii U, and it looks so weird, right?
It's funny.
It's cool looking.
Because I don't think I've ever heard of this game.
Okay, yeah, this is like a very famous game, and it looks cool, doesn't it? You know, from the screenshots.
Looks like something. Moving
Very
along
artistic.
here.
You don't think that looks cool?
I mean, it looks all right.
Okay.
Moving along here,
really cool.
we got Pato Box for $14.99.
Yep.
Do you know?
It's a surreal boxing quest with a duck.
I tell you what, the art
Punch
style
Out.
is amazing. It's literally just like black and white.
It's okay.
What's up?
It's okay.
It is. Kidding. Look at that.
No, yeah.
That big old
it's
building.
Really cool.
Like the big room and oh man.
It looks just like a comic book.
Yeah, I like it.
Very cool.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What do we got next?
Next up. Oh, well. Bomber Crew Deluxe Edition. Game plus the season pass for... It's $24.99, but right now it's 20% off for $19.99. So there you go.
Some Bomber Crew action.
We just talked about that. Cute looking little game, but deceptively hard.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, movie tie-in alert.
Oh, wee.
Hotel Transylvania 3 Monsters Overboard for $39.99.
Oh man.
Yeah, I guess if you couldn't get your fill in the theaters, you could get your fill here on the Switch.
Oh jeez, it just looks so bad. I'm sorry. It just looks really bad. Anyway.
You know what? I don't know if I was gonna say I don't know if it looks bad or not, but it actually looks pretty cool.
Hunting Simulator. Yeah. My thing's loading right now. Tell me about it while it's loaded. Okay, I got it.
Well, it looks like you could hunt bears. Looks like you could hunt deer and elk.
That cabin looks cool. Actually, yeah, that does look cool.
Hunting sim.
You know what'd be great is if, like, in this game you could, like, if you could sit for hours just waiting, and that's a real thing, you know?
Yeah, it's like, yeah, but like you can't move your Joy-Cons, otherwise it scares the deers away.
Yeah.
You just
anyway.
Jill walks in like, "You alright, Perry?"
Dang it, Jill! Yeah. Yeah. I'm like in like this stance, like holding the bow and arrow, like shaking, like my hands shaking.
That's amazing.
$39.99 looks cool if you like hunting.
Next up here, we've got The Lion's Song for $9.99, an award-winning episodic adventure series.
Man, this is Adventure Week.
Yeah, there's a lot of adventure games.
There are so many adventure games.
This one's sort of cool. It's got some like pixely art to it. Very, I don't want to say monotone, but like not a lot of colors used. Very dark.
Yeah.
Looks like some reds or like purple sort of thrown in there to give it a little more than just the black and white. But yeah, it looks not my style of game, but looks pretty cool.
Looks very cool. Very cool.
Next up here, we have Never Out for $7.49. Is this a puzzle? All right. I figured it was a puzzle game, but I wasn't sure if it was going to be trying to mix some like horror elements into it. But
it's like a first-person, like you have to get out of the rooms puzzle game.
One of the rooms here looks like it. I wonder if it'd be like, nah, maybe not a Portal-esque kind of thing. I just saw those colors.
No, but I mean, it plays like that. You know,
yeah.
It's the same genre. Yeah. $7.49.
Boom, boom. What do we got next?
Muddle Dash.
Muddle Dash. Ooh-wee.
Couldn't get cuter, could it?
Yeah. It probably could.
I don't think so.
No, you're right.
Actually,
it is
this
pretty
game
cute.
looks pretty cool looking at it.
What do we know here? Multiplayer Octopus Party Madness.
All
right.
It's fun. $5.99. Why not?
Can't beat a multiplayer fun for that action.
We have the last 3 here, and we've already done one of them.
Yep, some more Bomberman. Or not Bomberman, Bomber Crew. Too many bombs and Adventure Bomb. Bombing Adventure.
Adventure Bombs.
Yeah. What's this week's episode going to be named? Something
2
with bomb and
dudes.
adventures. 2 bombs in a bag. Next up here, we've got, I guess I'd say one of the bigger releases, maybe? Shining Residence Refrain for $49.99.
From Sega.
Yes. Liberate the dragon that resides within you. I know David is playing this game for review. Another RPG, as you would imagine for him. Yeah, I can't say I've really heard too much about this game. So I'm looking.
There's a demo, so.
Well, there you go.
You can check it out.
Boom,
for
boom.
Free.
And to bring us to the end of the eShop Roundup, we've got 20XX for $17.99. This is a action platformer with fluid movement, endless replayability, and full co-op.
I've heard about this. It's like Mega Man X, and it has it's like a roguelike. So I think it's kind of like that a robot named Fight, you know?
Yep. It definitely is going for Mega Man X, unabashedly.
Yeah.
But that's not a bad thing.
It doesn't have pixel graphics.
Yeah.
No.
Well, yeah, now it's like the new Mega Mans. Or the new Mega Man to come. But
that's right. All right, we're done, Casey, with the eShop Roundup.
Ooh-wee.
So that means one thing, and one thing only.
It's time for the YouTube Saloon.
The YouTube Saloon.
That's not what you thought I was going to say.
That's exactly what I thought you were going to say.
Was it?
Because that's the only thing... Well, yeah, it's YouTube Saloon time.
You know what? We need to edit it back into the doc. I don't want to forget it.
Yeah, we do.
I don't want to upset Grizzles for us, you know?
I would like to make a template for you of how it should look.
What, is mine not up to snuff? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Inferior.
I quit.
Inferior.
I quit.
Anyway. Yes, it's time for the YouTube Saloon, baby. We're back.
Yep, and
this is going to be a special one, too.
Another busy week over on the Saloon. We have another challenge, of course. And this week, we will be dueling in some SpiritSphere DX. Now, you might say, Casey Perry, that game doesn't have online play. And it's not like a game you can necessarily race in. And we say...
What's the Talk Nintendo Challenge slogan?
We do what you don't want to do.
No. I was hoping you remembered it because of the wording.
Yeah, what was it?
Any game can be an online multiplayer game.
I mean, I was pretty close.
Okay, I guess. But yes. Yeah, so what we did, and actually, we talk about it with Martino, what we did, I think, on the... next, but we played squash and it's great. We had a cool rule set and stuff, and
yeah, we play some squash and we play same rules and we see how it plays out, and it's really fun. Definitely should check over there. Of course, if you just listen to the eShop Roundup, you probably wouldn't want to go watch the video, but it's going to be over there as well. And yeah, the full episodes, again, just a reminder to everyone, full episodes do go up on Thursday, just usually a couple hours later. Because it takes me a second to export that puppy. But...
yeah, no mini play this week.
No.
We will have them.
No, yeah, those are going to be more sporadic. But...
yeah.
We should... I guess it would... no better time than now to announce our next little giveaway we have here.
Woo, yes.
And this...
with a partnership with Grills Von Sizzle.
Yes, a.k.a. Alex. It seems... we know a lot of Alexes with this show. But,
I know.
But yeah,
he's the fourth one.
Yeah, the number of Alexes is too damn high.
Yep.
But yes, he was ecstatic that we brought back the old YouTube Saloon, so much that he wanted to fund a little giveaway for us. So we have a $10 eShop gift card to give away. Thanks again to Grills Von Sizzle for such for this. What am I don't even know what I'm saying anymore.
He gave us the code for the $10.
And it was tempted. I had to tell Perry not to use it for his own biddings. Yeah, we're joking around if we ended up like, yeah, we'd love to do a $10 giveaway. Hey Perry, you want me to give away this $10 gift card to you?
Yeah. The joke being that, like, first of all, it's the most awful thing in the world, but also I have so many games I haven't played.
You can barely. Don't worry, the people know you only talked about one game this week during what we've been playing. They're probably like, man, that Perry kid's slipping up.
But anywho,
he's pretending this is the Wii U days of long summers without games to play. Right.
But we have... Yeah, I know. The good old days is what you mean to say. Yeah. But there's a... Did you go through the rule,
nope.
the way to enter?
Nope, I was just about to do that. And unless if you would like to take the honors.
You do it.
Okay. So, we were trying to think of a way to give this eShop gift card away. And we actually said, hey, Grizzle, why don't you do it for us? And he came up with a couple good ideas, and we liked this one. So... I'll write exactly what he put.
I like how you shortened Grills Von Sizzle to Grizzle.
My boy Grizzles.
Grizco.
Yeah, there you go. The Saloon is open for business, but what would you like the grizzled old barkeep to fix up for you? Come up with a Nintendo-themed beverage fit for the Wild West. Remember that around these parts, the only drinks that are served are ones that put hair on your chest. So... what we're going to ask you guys is to tweet at us. I'll probably make an image up there that you could just reply to, but you can just tweet at us regularly too, however you want to do it. And
just do the reply thing.
Yeah,
that's way better.
Yeah, it'll be reply to the tweet that I'll likely have pinned up there. You guys will know which one to reply to. Reply with your best drink, and you will be entered to win, and we will select one winner randomly. And once again, thank you so much, Grizzle, for hooking us up.
Yes, thank you so much, Grills Von Sizzle. You said post your favorite drink. I hope there's someone that just posts beer.
Yeah, mushroom beer.
Lowercase beer.
Yeah. Hey.
Anyway,
if they were to reply to that thread, they would be entered.
They would be entered. That's true. Yep. But let's get some creativity in there, and we can read some of them out on the podcast.
Oh yes,
feel free to give a description, anything. It'll be fun. This is all for fun, everyone. We can all have fun,
for fun,
right?
And for $10, not really cash money, but Nintendo cash money.
Yeah. And this is American eShop, so anyone can claim it as long as they have an American account.
Yep. But you know what? This is probably the longest day at the YouTube Saloon ever. It is time, Perry, to move on.
I'm drunk.
Yeah. I'm wasted.
So, let's talk the news.
News Talk with Casey Gibson.
Now, we haven't had a real hearty week of news in quite some time, sort of in that post-E3 news drought. And this week is not much different.
Nope.
We've got some interesting tidbits to talk about here. Easily, or I shouldn't say easily, but arguably the biggest and most interesting bit of news is that Warhammer is coming to the Switch. Now, do you know anything about this game?
I don't know anything about it.
Okay,
I know it might sound crazy. I just don't.
I went in because I knew it's a free-to-play game, and I was under the impression it was sort of like a MOBA. Sort of like a Paladins game, but I don't think it is. It's a free-to-play co-op third-party shooter, and apparently it's super fun and has a pretty big fan base. The fine folks over at Panic Button are on the porting duty, as it seems that any game that would have any bit of technical restrictions possibly coming to the Switch. They're on the case and they're making it work with like Wolfenstein and stuff. So and Rocket League and Doom and now Warframe. So pretty interesting. I looked. They said the free to play option. I guess you could buy a premium currency, and that could be used to purchase new weapons, war frames, which I guess are sort of like the mechs. I'm not 100% sure. Don't yell at me if I'm wrong. Equipment and blueprints. They can be purchased with the premium currency, but they can also all be earned within the game by just the in-game currency. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, free to play. I will probably check it out at least, you know what I mean? If not for one night just to see what it's all about. But like I said, I think it seems from the reaction that it's a pretty good get for Nintendo.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know that Nintendo's excited about it also.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They've been putting it a lot on Twitter and stuff, so.
Now, moving on to some sales figures. Crash Bandicoot. Well, I guess it's not really sales figures as much as whatever. Crash Bandicoot holds off the competition to keep the #1 spot in the UK for this week again. Man, the people in the UK, they love their Bandicoot.
I guess. What's wrong with you people?
Yeah. Well, it's better than Sonic, but
I think it's nostalgia, right? It's the big thing. That's the whole point of this thing,
I
right?
guess. I mean,
which I read. I'm slurping up what you're spitting out.
I need a shower.
But yeah, no, that's cool. That's amazing. You know, honestly, if I see Crash Bandicoot for like $15 physical, I'll probably pick it up.
You're like, I'll probably walk right by it.
Probably walk right by it and spit on it. Anyway.
What's up with you and spitting and slurping, you?
Spitting and slurping and
you're anyway.
What's with you and observing?
Observing?
You're just observing my every words and trying to find something perverse.
Are you telling me you're criticizing me for listening to you as we record a podcast? How dare you listen to the words coming out of my mouth?
Not listen. No, it's not the listening, okay? It's the twisting and turning of my words to make me sound like I'm an old pervert.
Well, when I hear things come out the way they do, and they're sick and perverted like you, I'm going to call them out. I don't want the people listening to think, like, they're going to be like, man, Casey didn't even say anything about that sick, disgusting, perverted comment Perry just made.
Yeah.
I guess he's a sick pervert, too. So I'm not getting my name sullied because of you.
Well, I'm sitting here being like, what the heck is he talking about? How is that perverted?
Mm-hmm.
So.
Sure.
Anyway.
Tell me what Todd Howard had to say.
He said he's surprised at how well that Fallout Shelter has done on the Switch.
It's almost like Nintendo fans want to play Fallout.
Yeah.
Almost,
except for this is a free-to-play game.
Fallout's got to be,
Fallout.
like... I want to say it's got to be coming, but, like, it would just make so much sense. Get like, whether it's Fallout 3 or 4, or New Vegas or whatever. It just seems like...
I don't know.
Like, come on, what are you waiting for?
Yeah.
But, I'm sure there's so many technical limits and stuff, but yeah.
No, they can come out. They can do it. Anyway, at least 3. I mean, 3 is like, or like Vegas.
Yeah,
Vegas
I think they... I think I read somewhere that said something technical with 4 would be difficult to come over.
Can still do
but
it.
You know what?
If they can do Wolfenstein, they can do it.
Well, I was going to say, yeah, it's like, nothing. I don't want to say nothing's impossible, but like, if they really wanted to, they can make these things work,
Yeah, no, nothing is impossible. No, I think that's a fair, it's just, you have to make some cuts and sacrifices, but I mean, no, nothing is impossible.
Yeah. Now, these next 2 bits...
I'm living proof of that.
Yeah. These next 2 bits sort of go hand in hand, or just the Switch madness. Devolver Digital has claimed that they still have over a dozen releases coming to the Switch this year. So, more games. Devolver Digital, obviously, they've got a pretty decent catalog with some good games over there. So, sending more games this way is always a good thing, you'd think. But this next bit, Perry, I want to know what you thought when you saw this.
Nintendo wants to release 20 to 30 indie games on Switch per week.
No.
No. This is bad. This is not good. It's not good. I mean, you know what you're thinking, like, hey, like, it's more games. More games is good. More games is not good.
Yeah.
You know why? Because people only have enough money to spend, and I just, it's so hard because you get these game developers that are working so hard to get their stuff out, and then it's overcrowded on this crappy UI on the eShop that gets drowned in stuff, and everything's gone by the time it's just down. It's gone. Back in the days of Snake Pass, it was fine.
Yep.
Remember the days? See, the early Switch days were great, where we had a chance to play something. But now, no. So, this is not... So they have to change something. So I'm wondering if their online is going to be... when they come up with the Switch Online.
Yeah, I think there'll be an upgrade.
They do an update to the eShop. I hope so.
I think so.
For goodness sake. Because
give me the themes, please.
There's too many amazing games that are just being overlooked and not showcased that need to be.
Yeah.
I'm just being honest.
No, I mean, I think it's just I want to say, like, it's awesome that the tools to make games have become so much more readily available for, you know what I mean? Like, think of think of the PS2, PS1, N64, GameCube era. It's like, if you wanted to make a game for those systems, like, you had to have a publisher, you had, all these things. So it's amazing that anyone can make a game. But yeah, the problem is that there's just so many of them, and I
know.
And the thing is too that it's not even just like, oh, okay, like, everyone's trying really hard to make a good game, and like, oh, some of these games just like aren't that good, like, but like they tried, and it's like I could deal with those, but it's like the obvious crap games they're just throwing up there hoping to sell some,
Yeah.
And then, I mean, that's always been a big debate on Steam and PS4, and eventually it's going to be with Switch. It's already getting to that point where it's just like, you need some sort of curation system, and then I know that's so subjective.
How about
because
good games and bad games?
See, but that's the thing. Then it's subjective. What's a good game? What's a bad game? And it's easy to say, like, oh,
but
well,
Nintendo used to do that.
Yeah,
though.
yeah. It's easy to look at a game and be like, that game is a bad game, But it's like, oh, it's just so many games. Like you said, they flood out, and it's tough to find the gems, But
yeah, I mean, it just has to change. I mean, that's just not. It's just not good for anything. It's too much. First of all, it's too much work on Nintendo's end to be working with all these developers to get nothing out of these sales, because no one's going to sell a lot, unless Nintendo is pushing the game, or there's some incredible thing is happening. But then these developers that are working super hard to get out games are just going to get lapsed, and it's just it just sucks,
Yeah, it's a really interesting debate because or topic to discuss, because like you said, I think everyone can agree that too many games is an issue, but then it's like, how do you fix it, without like some serious vetting? Because then you also got to think, like, if we have a team that vets every eShop game coming in to see if it's worthy of being put on the service, but then that's hiring a ton of people to do that, and I guess maybe for Nintendo they go, you know what, throw it up on the shop, it doesn't really cost us any money, and if they make any money off of the game, like, we'll see some of it,
Yeah.
So even if
I think
it's interesting.
I think the solution is on Nintendo's end, to be honest. I think that they need to do a better job at promoting good indie games.
Yeah, but I guess it's also, how do they find those good indie games? I mean, obviously some of them are like
have
blatantly
a staff
obvious.
Of people?
Yeah, but I don't know. I just think Nintendo.
How do we find them?
Well, we're playing them.
If we can find them, then they can find them.
Yeah, but you also got to think, like, what? I don't know. To me, Nintendo is probably looking at it like, okay, sure, we could like pimp out a few of these games to really try and push it, but you know what? like we'll pimp out the ones we know are good, like the indie darlings, you know what I mean? Like, oh hey, check this out, it's on the Switch. Those are sell, and if the other one sells, also great. And if it doesn't, you know what I mean? Like, they probably think X amount of dollars are going to be spent on the eShop, you know, if they're looking at figures. Like, any given week, I'm making a number up here, $100,000 worth of games are going to be sold. And it's like, whether we try and push this game, then it's like we're still probably going to see around the same amount of money, whether we push one game or the other. You know, people are going to spend the money somewhere. I don't know. It is interesting just because is it on Nintendo to push these smaller unknown games for sales? Because if that game sells well, it's probably coming, like, people are probably spending money on that game instead of a different game that they probably would have bought anyway.
I know. And I've been thinking about this last week, and really I've thought about it, and I think one of the biggest things that can help, and I'm not a communist, I'm the opposite of a communist, but I think that the way that our society is now, or that the gaming culture is, and the way that sales and things happen, is that people just don't spend a lot of money on games. They wait for sales. And they just don't spend a lot of money, you know? I mean, that's just because people don't have a lot of money, which is fine. You know, that's just... Or they don't have a lot of money to spend. And I was just thinking, like, one of the best things could be is actually supporting, you know, good games. And it's kind of up to the players to pay and seek out, you know? So it's like a try... It's like a
That's our job, Perry.
It's a Triforce.
Yeah, no,
so you got Nintendo, you got the developer, like the indie developer, and then you have you. And you're all kind of responsible to make sure everything is going good.
But
you know?
But that's sort of like, you know, that's part of what's good about doing a podcast like this is to be able to say, hey guys, you know, you might not have ever heard of Miles and Kilo, but it's a really fun game that honestly maybe a lot of people would not know about, you know? Exactly. It's one of the, and that's why I like those, like finding those games that maybe not everyone's playing, that you find and you're like, you know what, this game actually is good. It deserves those views. So that's why, I mean, I like to, on Twitter, you know, like if I'm playing a game I like, it's like tweet out at the developers or whatever, you know, especially if it's an indie game, they'll be able to see it more, you know, and be like, hey, really enjoying your game, and then maybe some other people see that tweet and they check it out, and like you said, it sort of perpetuates the cycle.
Yes.
But
so but from our end, we try to funnel it, you know, into our group of people, you know. So now it's up to you, the listener, to help. Please make donations, and
to
your name,
Casey Gibson.
If you donate for only, have you ever watched those PBS things?
Oh yeah.
Like, if you give $1,000, you'll get this DVD set of Downton Abbey.
Yeah, with $1,000 pledge, you can be the owner of this exclusive 3-pin pin set. Yeah. Featuring the characters from the Golden Girls, you know, minus Dorothy, because nobody wants a pin of Dorothy.
I do.
I know. Yeah, I honestly I forgot the old lady's name, like the mom.
Oh yeah, I couldn't
that was the name I was gonna go with. So Sophie. So yeah. Anyway, but yeah, Nintendo, too many games. Speaking of games, though, we can go on to Pokemon Quest has been downloaded 7.5 million times between the Switch and smartphones, which it just released recently on. Quite a few downloads, I'd say, for a free-to-play game. They didn't say how much money they made off those. Of course, you know, it's like I downloaded and played a couple hours, you know, but I never spent any money. But yeah, I wonder how that financially worked out for him.
Probably really, really well.
Yeah, it's Pokemon.
Yep. We have a couple more news items here before we're done. And one is Dead Cells is releasing August 7th.
Physically, baby.
Yeah. Is that coming out August 7th physically?
I
think that's just digital.
Let me see.
I'm pretty sure that's just digital. And it comes with a 20% pre-order discount.
Okay, sorry. So what did it's releasing on the 7th regular? Physical is August 21st. So it's actually not too much longer of a
Not too
wait.
far. Yeah.
That's probably what I'll be doing.
Yeah, me too. Our friends over at Merge Games
are
releasing it, which we interviewed with Yonder at PAX. So
Nick Clarkson.
Yeah, nice guy.
Yes.
Really nice guy.
And speaking of
people.
nice guys and nice people.
Yeah, we got one last news item.
Yes.
Which is actually really exciting.
Yep. Slime
Son.
That was nice.
Yeah, good
In
job.
unison.
The free DLC, the last... Well, I don't know if it's the last, but I mean, I think it is.
No, I believe...
edition.
Wasn't Blackbird's Kraken?
Blackbird's Kraken.
That's.
Yep.
I thought that was the second piece of DLC.
That's the first.
Oh, was it?
Yep, and then it's... Yep, and then this is the Sheeple sequel.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, all right,
Yeah.
I mixed them up. Yeah, no, that's some. I believe there are 10 new levels with this, and a bunch of upgrades your copy to Super Slime Edition, and
new icon.
Some more slimy
changed the
goodness, as
icons.
they say.
Oh yeah, right now it's $5.99. That's insane. It's half
Oh
off.
yeah.
Villainy discount! Villainy discount!
Yeah, Villainy discount. Guys, go get this right now. If you haven't gotten it already, it's $5.99.
Yeah.
That is a bargain.
That's a steal.
For how much content that is,
That
and how much fun that game is. So
That is
we'll have to
definite
do
steal.
another. We'll do a challenge on the Sheeple sequel
You want to?
because that Slime Son
You
challenge
want to
was
get
so
your
much fun.
butt kicked again?
Shut up.
Well, that's just
But,
not very nice.
yes. Go get Slime Son. And also go pick up SpiritSphere DX. And what a nice segue into this next interview that we're going to have that's coming up. I hear Martino knocking on the door right now.
Alrighty, and we are back, and we are honored to be joined by friend of the show and developer at Eendhorn Games and developer of the recently released SpiritSphere DX, Martino Wullems.
And fan of the show, not to forget about that.
Oh, nice.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
And our one Dutch friend, Martino.
That's me.
How's it going, Martino?
Pretty good. Game's just
Yeah.
released, so busy.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah.
your head must be spinning from just. I can only imagine like how much excitement, but also nerves there are when releasing a game.
Yeah, it was pretty nerve-wracking, but fortunately I had the guys over at Forbest doing all the boring PR and marketing and all that stuff, writing emails, so it was pretty smooth sailing for me.
Yep, you're just writing the code.
Yeah, pretty much.
The the very exciting work of writing code.
Well, it's not just the code, I also do the arts, I do everything besides the
He's a-
boring
yeah.
stuff, so...
A
Did you
one-man
do-
wrecking crew.
What about the music?
The music is done by a guy in Italy. He's actually like a performer. He does like live concerts on a Game Boy, and now he wrote music for my game. So that's pretty cool.
Awesome. It
Yeah.
is cool, man. The music's great.
Oh yeah, big time.
Yeah. Okay, so just fair warning to everyone here. We're going to be gushing about SpiritSphere. So just letting you know, because it's an awesome game. So we played it, if you've been following the Talk Nintendo podcast, I mean, ever since it was even announced for the Switch, we were talking about it because Fabian from Fabraz teased it on our podcast. They're publishing their first game because they didn't actually publish Slime Son, but they are publishing a new game. And then since then, we find out it's SpiritSphere DX, this wonderful top-down Zelda-like rallying tennis pong game, or air hockey, or whatever you want to call it.
Air hockey feels like a good comparison.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
it really
mostly
is.
like
It
air
is.
hockey, yeah.
Yeah. Also squash.
Dude, the squash mode is so
among
good, so
others. Yeah. And you play as different characters. I mean, the big hook of the game to me has been playing as the different characters that completely play differently. And so you have your normal standard Link type Lyn, who does what you'd expect from the generic player, and then you keep going through and you get some crazy ones like Jimmy the Dwarf, and you got
Fennel,
Ozo,
the nice cart.
Fennel, yeah,
the Mario Kart, if you will, yeah.
Yes. And how many different characters are there?
I think I always forget. I think there's 9, and then there's the boss characters, so 10 in total. Right.
So there's so many different modes and ways to play this game. Actually, we're recording this on the 5th of July. So yesterday I was actually with family celebrating the 4th of July, and I had to just pull out the game, and I was sitting with my cousins. We were like, we're all grown adults, but we were sitting on the floor like Indian style, playing hand-to-hand mode, and my cousin just could not get enough of it. He was having so much fun. He thought it was so cool, the hand-to-hand mode.
I bet he kicked your keister around town too.
Nope. I actually beat him because I had played it much more. I was like, no, this time I'm gonna be beating people. But yeah, we also did a hand mode. We also just took the Joy-Cons off and set it like on the table. Like we went and set it on the table, so you can kind of hold the controllers, but then still play it like, off of one screen, which works just exactly how you wish it would. It's awesome.
Yeah, so can you explain to the listeners what hand-to-hand mode actually is?
Yes, it is the best way to smell the other person's breath while playing a game. No.
Exactly what it was made for.
It's literally something that you can really only do on the Switch. It's where you hold if you're taking a Switch handheld and you're holding it in your hands with another person, they're each holding a Joy-Con and then looking down, and then you're playing just like you're playing air hockey, like that.
And the Joy-Con is attached while you're playing it like this, so literally you're both holding on to it, and it's cool because it adds like a little bit of like gamesmanship within the game. Like you I'm not saying to pull the controller away from the other person, but if you happen to jostle it around, try and throw them up any which way you can.
That's how you did it.
Yeah. I mean, not to give my secrets away, but
well, that's the cool thing is like, I always wonder like how it would feel. Like it feels like you're supporting it, but really you're actually only holding half the Switch, so it's really light when you're holding it with other people. So it's actually really comfortable. Like it's a really practical, cool way of playing. So that's a lot of fun.
And I'm actually curious, Martino, was that something that when you've sort of had the game and you're like, we're going to bring it to the Switch, was that something that was initially right away like, I want to do hand-to-hand, like this cool little thing that would be, unique to the Switch version? Because this game, SpiritSphere, did come out on Steam, right, a couple years ago? So, was this something that you'd thought early on in the Switch lifespan, or was that something that sort of came about, maybe a little bit later in development?
Well, since it was inspired by air hockey, the air hockey table is actually quite vertical. So when I saw the release Nintendo Direct for the Switch, I was like, man, I want to do this thing with the Switch.
Yes.
So right away, I wanted to do it. But of course, I didn't have a publisher. I didn't think my game was going to come to Switch anytime soon. So, but it did, and I was able to make it. So really happy about that.
And it's because of Casey and I, if you think about it. If you really think about it, because I'm the one that brought we're the one that brought Slime Song to the Switch, which then
You did?
I'm just kidding.
Am I missing something here?
Perry loves to attach his name to items that have come out here and there, so he can sort of get some credit. But
I say that because I met Ben at PAX a couple years ago, and I said, you should bring it to Switch, and he said, okay, yeah, little did I know that they had like I think they believe they already talked with.
It was already in the works. Yeah,
like it was already working. But then I just take credit for it since
that's what they want. What they're telling you, they don't want to bring the.
They don't want to hurt
you.
his feelings.
Yeah.
Well, the funny thing is, and I know I've mentioned this a billion times, but I actually did design a part of Slime Son. I inspired the design to you know how you can change the colors.
I designed it.
I didn't code it, but you know how you can change the colors of Slime Son?
I hope they did give you that 1% of the profits that you deserve.
Yeah.
Yeah, your royalties.
Yeah, royalties.
Yep, they already sent me my $352 check.
Yeah, right. You should send that to me.
That.
But yeah.
Technically.
So with
anyway,
SpiritSphere,
let's get back into SpiritSphere.
Now, I think, as you said, obviously it came out on Steam. Like, where did the idea of SpiritSphere come from? Was it initially just something like you enjoyed air hockey and it was sort of like you wanted to put your own sort of spin on it, or like where did the idea hatch from?
It's quite an interesting story. There's a game jam. It's called the Game Boy Jam. So yeah, I should guess it. You have to make a Game Boy styled game in like I think it's a week or 10 days. And I made like a dungeon crawler inspired by Zelda, where every room is its own mini game. And one of the mini games was kind of a Pong-like game. So I finished the game jam and I was like, damn, this mini game's pretty damn fun. And a few days later, I went to the arcades and played some air hockey, and I was like, damn, I should combine air hockey with this mini game I made. And that's when SpiritSphere was born, pretty much.
Voila.
A Game Boy game jam sounds amazing.
Yeah, it's so much fun.
Sounds
it's
like
my favorite
kinda,
one. My favorite game.
That sounds like my jam.
Oh,
I always love those, yeah, like working within such tight constraints, you know? I love to see how creative people can get. And, like, that's why it's, like, obviously with big, like, AAA games nowadays, it's, like, the budgets can be endless. But, like, I still love that the indie scene takes those, like, we're going to build it within sort of these parameters, you know what I mean? And just to see what people come up with is always so fascinating to me.
Yeah, I love it. And since I'm a one-guy team, I have to have some limitations, because there's only so much I can do on my own without the project spiraling out of control. So I really work.
It's unbelievable.
I really work on limitations usually, as you can see in SpiritSphere.
Yeah. I don't understand how you could work as a one-man team. That's amazing. I mean, that's truly like applause.
Yeah, I mean, man, for me, I know motivation would be such like a. I need someone else helping to push me forward with things, you know, most of the time. But that actually sort of brings me into my next question. How was working with? I know Fabraz, they published it, but like, was it nice to have sort of like some extra eyes to bounce things off of, or like maybe I don't know how much if any, how much they helped with actual development of the game, or, you know, polishing or whatever you want to say it is. But was it nice to sort of have like hey, if I'm stuck or if I sort of have this idea, like I could sort of bounce it off other people and sort of see their reaction with it?
One of the things I really miss when working on my own is just having someone to say, hey, what do you think about this? And when the guys over at Fabraz joined me, I finally had that ear that was listening to me and it was giving me the feedback. So that was definitely really nice. They did help me with like getting the dev kit, of course, but also with the actual programming, because it's a new platform that I'm completely unfamiliar with. But they really got me up and running, teaching me how that stuff all works. And they did really like show me some things that I was just blind. I was working on the game for so long without a second set of eyes that I was just missing a lot of small details.
You had your blinders on.
Yeah, like small things like victory jingle, like stuff like that. And they really pointed me in the right direction and made the game what it is today.
Oh, yeah. So with working by yourself and then working with, you said that they helped get you a dev kit. Now, I was wondering, what engine did you build this game on?
It's made in Unity, like
is
all
it?
the games nowadays.
Yeah, well, Unity is a fantastic engine.
Not too sure about that. I got mixed opinions, but it was definitely helpful in porting the game pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, how is it, like, in comparison? I mean, you just said that it was the first time working with Switch, obviously a new platform. How is that sort of compared to working on Steam? Because I know we've talked to some other developers who have said that it's surprisingly it's not as bad as porting sometimes to other systems. I know with the Wii U was sort of difficult to sort of, work with at times. So did you find, and obviously you said you had help with from Fabraz sort of having the knowledge of working on the Switch, but did it seem like it was a somewhat seamless transition between the two platforms?
Yeah, definitely. When I started out, the guys at Fabraz said, "Oh, you got to change this and this because we got so many problems with optimization and stuff." But since I run a super slow computer, because I'm a poor as hell indie dev, the game was working perfectly fine the first time I ran it. So it was really smooth, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Perfect, yeah. So, what's next for SpiritSphere DX? I mean, are you planning on like new content for it, like DLC? Huh?
I'm discussing it right now. I'm not too sure yet. I have some stuff in the back of my mind that I still want to add.
Mm-hmm.
But first of all, of course, is all the bug squashing. Few things do show up, of course, after release, after so many people start playing it. But that's the highest priority right now. But there might be some stuff in the future if the game does well enough. Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. And I mean, it's kind of I'm excited at what you could come up with next with that Switch and doing stuff. And I just, I absolutely love the game. But, you talk about Game Boy. I was thinking, you seem like you're a big fan of the Game Boy.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? What are some of your favorite Game Boy games?
I think you can guess Link's Awakening is probably my favorite.
You want to know something? Martino's going to be ashamed of me. I have never played that game.
What?
Man.
Martino's going to be ashamed of you. Get off the podcast.
Every single listener is going to be ashamed. Now, I should say I've probably played it at some point, but I've never, actually played it. You know what I mean? Like, I've never sat down and beat it. I know it's shameful, really.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's such a great game. But I can
really
see
is.
it's a step back if you play the 3D Zelda ones. So I can imagine it's hard to get into.
You know what I think
nostalgia.
it is? It's the map. Not the map, excuse me. It's the item switching,
Yes.
Like
that's the only thing I hate is the item switching.
Yeah.
You get 2 items,
And it's like I'm sort of holding out for that. And I know it's just probably people hopeful thinking that there might be a remake, but I'm always like, you know what's gonna happen? I'm gonna finally bite the bullet. I'm gonna play this Game Boy game and deal with some of the the not so great quality of life things, and then all of a sudden they're gonna be like, and coming out in a couple months, a brand new remake, and I'll be like, oh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know what would have been amazing, Martino, is if your original Steam release was the Game Boy Green, and then for the DX it was the Game Boy Color colors, because of Link's Awakening DX.
The Game Boy Jam game is the green one, so in some sort it is, yeah.
That's awesome. See, you need to have a code, an Eendhorn code to unlock the Game Boy mode.
That's a nice one. I should think about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't let him take credit for it, Martino. He's going to be spewing all day about how I'm pretty much the only reason this game exists.
Yeah. Well, I want to know what other Game Boy games do you like, Martino? I mean, like, what is there any? Because I love talking about Game Boy because I'm kind of a huge fan of Game Boy.
I guess it's just the typical big names like Pokemon and Super Mario Land, even though it's probably quite bad if you play it now. I played it so much as a child that I just have such nice memories of that game.
Oh yeah, see, mine is Super Mario Land 2. Like that is like the most nostalgic game of my past is Super Mario Land 2.
So random.
And it was. I know. Well, it's just because that's what like my brothers had on the Game Boy. You know, that's all I played. Because my parents never ever bought me a video game ever. So
really?
I don't even know how. Yeah, not once. My whole life. And not that they like hate video games. They just never.
They just
did.
hate you.
Yep.
Well, video games are expensive, so
Yeah.
That was my bread and butter. Come Christmas time when I was a child. You know, it was like, oh man, I want to get all those games I've wanted.
Yep.
God bless Chris.
And it still is.
Yeah,
kind
Pokemon was always my go-to Game Boy game. Because I remember
it's so good.
my friend had it, and that was the first time I played a Game Boy, and he had Pokemon Blue, and I remember I was like, I had just fallen in love immediately, you know? And I was like, Mom, I need a Game Boy and Pokemon for Christmas. And she didn't know which Pokemon to get, the blue or red, so she got me both. So I was like, oh, I was in Pokemon heaven that year.
Oh my goodness! So like you'd play to one area and then you'd save and quit and then put in the other game. And play the same area.
I'm gonna know how to tackle the crap out of this area now. Oh my God, an Oddish!
What'd you say, Martino?
You are crying inside right now. Man, I didn't even get one from my parents, and he got two.
Well,
couldn't he send me one?
No, I just played the ones that my brother, because I'm the youngest brother, and they had money and they bought games, so I just played theirs.
They should have just not let you play. They wanted to be big old jerk bags.
They probably did. I just snuck it from them.
Doubling back to SpiritSphere here for a second. I'm curious how long that development took from the initial idea of like, okay, we did the game jam. I think this is a good idea. Like, how long did you work on that up until the Steam release? And then how much extra time was it sort of post-Steam into the Switch development?
Both of them was 9 months. So the original game took like 9 months. And then to add all the extra content was also about 9 months.
Oh man, that's not that long. I thought it was a lot longer for some reason.
I mean, that's still a healthy amount of time.
I mean, it's healthy, but
it felt pretty long to me, yeah.
I've been working on this game for the last 2 years.
I've been working on this game 12 hours a day for the last 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, actually, that's a sort of what is a typical work day like in the life of an indie developer who's working solo? Is it putting that 12-hour days in, or is it like, how do you sort of know when to step back and then when to sort of crunch, like, to really, make a push at something?
It's probably different for me than for other developers. I have really no schedule at all. I don't care. I just sleep. Whenever I feel like waking up, I wake up. And then I go enjoy the day. And then I go start to work at like 6 at the evening. And then I keep working until whatever I have in my head is done. So it can be a 5-hour day. It can also be like a 14-hour day. It really just depends on how stuck am I with the feature I'm implementing right now. So yeah, no schedule at all, pretty much.
You are a nocturnal if you need be.
Yeah,
it sounds like Casey's dream come true.
Yeah, oh God, don't even get me started on my job.
It requires a lot of discipline, though.
Oh, sure. I could totally, yeah. I mean, like I said, for me, I know when I'm trying to get productive things done, it's like to have that sort of someone pushing you a little bit, But yeah, God bless you, man. Jeez.
Yeah, I just like what Casey said before, like the inspiration, but like just feeling it from day to day. Like there had to be so many days because just from when I'm working on projects of my own, like where it's just like, man, I have no oomph in my step today to do anything, and so yeah. But you gotta be diligent. I can't even think about how many games that are out there that people have started that they haven't finished because it's so much.
Oh, you don't want to know. 99% of all projects don't finish. It's like the biggest problem, like specifically to programmers. They just cannot finish stuff because when you're a programmer, you're pretty much a god. You can make anything you want.
Mm-hmm.
So you start on a project and you're like, oh, this is coming along, and then you get like the new big idea. This old project is going in the bin. This new idea, this is it. This is the one.
Yeah.
And then 2 weeks later, it starts all over again.
I mean, did anything like that happen with SpiritSphere, or I mean, is it kind of just like a realization of your initial concept?
Yeah, for SpiritSphere, I really just had a feeling this is a good one. I need to hold on to this one.
Yeah. Yeah, I just what if Nintendo comes out with their own SpiritSphere game? What in the world?
Well, it's
like
a
that.
good thing you
Mario
beat him
Tennis?
to the market.
No, I mean like with Zelda, like with like different, like it plays almost like like it plays exactly the same, but it has a bunch of Zelda characters.
I would love
That would
it.
be insane. It'd be amazing. Yeah. Or they come to you, Martino, we want to make your game a real Zelda game.
Man, that's,
Nope. Yeah. Get out of here,
that would
Nintendo.
be more than a dream come true. That would be great.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. But that is so much fun. I mean, because as you start playing the game, like it's all like I start playing this game, it's like, why hasn't this been done before? Like I can't believe that they didn't do this on the Game Boy. Like to be honest, like especially if you get all those like Kirby spin-off games on the Game Boy, like I could totally have seen this game as a Zelda spin-off game, sports type thing on the Game Boy, and it would have been amazing. But I can't believe they didn't do it. But it works so well.
Yeah, usually they just pick Mario for those type of games. It's too bad Zelda doesn't get the sports love, or Metroid, or any other series for that matter.
I say with Zelda, there's so many characters too. I mean, like think of Hyrule Warriors. How many just unique characters there are in that world that could easily be put into like.
Oh my goodness, Tingle!
I'm surprised they don't just
Sphere.
Mario. I'm surprised they just haven't shifted like the Mario sports games to just literally Nintendo Sports. I mean, maybe keep the like they've already sort of done a little bit of that with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, with obviously Link and Animal Crossing and F-Zero coming in. But you'd think they could like imagine they put DLC where you could play as Link in Aces. That would get people to buy that game like who wouldn't originally
would he
buy
have
it.
Tennis outfits?
Yeah,
Would Link have a tennis outfit? Because that would be amazing.
Some nice shorts.
Yeah.
It works for Mario Kart.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, it's like I wouldn't say, but there actually is precedent for Mario Kart. It for some reason it works well with his funny Epona motorcycle.
It's so good.
It works, and the motorcycle became canon in an actual Zelda game.
Is it that motorcycle? I didn't play the DLC. Is it the actual Mario Kart?
It's not the
one?
same one.
Oh,
It's not
okay.
the same one. But it's
I
it's
haven't
still
played
a
that
motorcycle.
DLC either, but.
But like you said, Martino, good point. They just released Mario Tennis Aces.
Yeah, man, I wanted to be ahead of that game, but I just couldn't make it in time.
You know what though? I honestly think there are so many people out there who are like interested in the Mario Tennis games, but don't want to drop $60 on that. So to have like an alternative on the eShop that is just as much fun, like a little different rule set. Obviously, it's not straight tennis, but like the same kind of feel. You know what I mean? For like not a $60 game. Like I think there'll be a lot of people who might just be like, "Ooh, let me check this out."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I hope so.
And yeah, I mean, for everyone, SpiritSphere DX is so pretty. The colors just make me happy when I play the game, and when you play it on the screen on the handheld, it just looks so vibrant and like
the goal celebration.
That's what I love about these pixelated games, because like with the 3DS, It was kind of hard for that thing to make the game, like pixelated games, look really good on there. The screen wasn't as good. And then, like, you know, especially their Game Boy Virtual Console.
And when they quit on the 3D,
Yeah.
Because, well, I just mean, like, you know, the Game Boy games looked awful if you played it without playing them in natural resolution. And then if you did that, they were super small.
Tiny, yeah.
Yeah, and it's just like, ugh. So it's kind of like this renaissance of, like, really nice-looking handheld pixel games. And just coming out, it's so fun living in the indie world that we have with people like Martino release these gorgeous games. It's so much fun, and I really love it. I really appreciate the art style and stuff. So, and I think one of the things that, you know, not only the characters being so different, but the stages and the ideas of the stages are really different. So I guess we can because this will be out after we do our challenge case.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yep.
So, yeah, everyone can go see our challenge, but we actually did a Talk Nintendo challenge on SpiritSphere with the squash mode.
It was great.
Oh,
yep.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we had a fun, I think it was, we did
3 rounds, right?
3 rounds, and whoever allowed the least amount of points from the computer. So, I'm not going to spoil who won, but yeah, and we all played with the same character on the same stage. But, like, as you can see in our video, like, it's crazy how the game can just flip how you think you're going to play it, like 180 degrees, because suddenly there's obstacles that pop up that prevent you from doing stuff. And I love all those different kind of, and it really is so much like Smash in that sense, where all these things pop up, and with different rule sets, now you have to play a different way, and your different characters are now amazing at this idea. And it's a really organic, like, feel where you can you have to take the time to get to know each character and to know what their strengths are, and then how to use those, you know, in the best ways for each mode. So it's a really good experience all around, single player and multiplayer, I believe. Wouldn't you say so, Case? Or Martino, what do you think?
It's definitely a multiplayer game first, and then I did try to make the single player as fun as possible with the squash matches in between, and the target mode, and a little frisbee mini game, and then at the end there's the boss battle. I did try to make it into a nice single player experience as well.
Yeah, I think, obviously, like you said, it's definitely multiplayer is where it shines the most, but you could totally get in there single player and still have fun. Like you said, it varies up the matches nicely. And what's, like, the coolest thing with SpiritSphere is just how different each character plays. I know we might have mentioned that a little bit before, but just they really do play so drastically different from one character to the next, and like no two characters are like, oh well, that one just plays a tiny bit different. They really do all play significantly different, and it's nice. So then you can go back and play that single player mode with all the different characters, and it's going to feel different, you know, and be a totally different experience. And then, like you said, I got to play some, not hand-to-hand, but we just played some local co-op with my sister, and she absolutely loved that game. And she was like, I was like, I don't know, she's not a huge video gamer, like she plays them, but yeah, she was like, make sure to bring it next time you come over, kind of thing. So we're definitely going to be playing some more. But yeah, I guess I know I have one last question, just sort of about the characters, is how difficult was it to sort of balance all the characters to work together, since they do play so differently?
Yeah, that was probably the hardest thing about the game, balancing the characters.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
Especially since I'm on my own, so I don't have anyone to playtest with regularly. So
that's actually amazing that you did that.
Yeah, next time I'm not gonna make a multiplayer-focused game anymore, but I usually just brought the game to local game developer meetups, and we played a bunch there, and they're more like into game design than your average player, so they gave me some nice feedback, and that's how I sort of balanced out the characters.
Oh, cool. Good.
Awesome.
That's cool. Well, Martino, thank you so much for coming onto the podcast talking about SpiritSphere. It's so much fun talking to you. And thank you for staying up to the late hours of the night.
I'm a night owl, so
Well,
just
it's funny.
normal day for me.
Before, when you're like, yeah, I
Okay.
usually start working around 6, I was like, oh, so this is part of like his work day, but I wasn't accounting for the drastic time change.
Yeah, right.
Yep. Oh, Casey. But, yeah, so definitely I want to have you on. I know that as a game developer, I mean, do you play, I assume you play other video games. It might be kind of hard to.
I
but-
play almost exclusively Nintendo games.
My man.
Yeah, I play
That's
a lot of them.
Yep. And you listen to the Talk Nintendo podcast, so that makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah. But what I was trying to get to is we need to have you on again, and we can just casually chat about stuff you play, and we can talk about things.
Yeah, for sure. Sounds fun.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll get that set up, but thank you again for coming on, and everyone make sure to go download SpiritSphere DX.
Yes, sir.
Right now on the Switch. I guarantee you will have tons of fun with it, especially if you have some people to play it with locally. It is a lot of fun. It's so easy to pick up and play. I believe is the launch price $10, or is that the...
I think it's $10, yeah. I'm from Europe, so I know it's €10, but I think it's $10 as well, yeah.
Well, is there like a special going on right now?
There
Or
was,
there for
before it was launched, there was a pre-order bonus.
Okay. Well, it's around $10 no matter what. So help support our amazing indie people like Martino and get their things so that they can continue to put out amazing content like SpiritSphere DX.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Well, on that note, Martino, it's been fun.
Yeah, thanks for having me, and until next time.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Well, before you go, why don't you tell the fine people where they can find you? Obviously, definitely check out SpiritSphere DX on the eShop, but Twitter, anything that if the people want to find you, Martino, where do they look?
I'm typically active on Twitter at Eendhorn Games. Might have to look that up in the description because it's Dutch, so it's kind of weird.
I'll put a link in the description to your Twitter there.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Twitter, mostly on Twitter, yeah.
Awesome.
Perfect.
Very nice.
All right. Thank you, Martino.
Thanks for having me.
Yep.
See you later.
Alrighty, and we're going to take a quick little breather, and then we'll come back and close out the show.
So, thank you, Martino, for stopping by. And,
Good old Martino.
Giving us the lowdown on SpiritSphere DX, on developing and whatnot, and we hope the best for you. And, again, please go download it. It's a really, really fun game, especially if you have some people around to play it with, or if you want to do challenges like Casey and I do.
Yes. Now, Perry, I need to run to work real quick. So I'm going to let you take this next interview by your lonesome.
Oh, I hear him again. It's Rupert's here. Rupert Ochsner. From,
Mom, I'll be right back.
From Bonus Level Entertainment. From the guys the guy that directed Fox and Forest is here. So, heck yes. We met him at PAX and he's back again. And we're going to talk Fox and Forest now. So let's do that right now. All right, we are back here. It's just me. Casey isn't here. He's being a big gym bot, but he's not here. But we are here with Rupert. Is it Ochsner?
Yes, correctly.
Rupert Ochsner of Bonus Level Entertainment. This wonderful developer from Germany. He is the game director for Fox and Forests.
Exactly, our 16-bit dream that finally came true.
A 16-bit dream that finally came true. That's exactly how I would put it as well. Yeah. So why don't we talk, Rupert? Why don't you give the pitch for Fox and Forests?
Okay, Fox and Forest, it's a 2D action platformer with RPG and puzzle elements. And the key feature is that the main hero, Rick the Fox, he has a magic melee crossbow that can be used for long range and close-up attacks, but it can also be used for switching seasons. So that's the core feature, because in every level you've got 2 predefined seasons and you can switch between them. So for example, there's a level where you can't cross the water because it's spring. And then by the press of a button on the fly, you can switch to winter, the water freezes, and Rick can cross over the water.
It's wonderful, and it works seamlessly, but with the press of a button.
Exactly.
With the press of a button and a wonderful animation of season changing.
Yes.
So this came out a month ago. How long has this been out?
It came out on May 17th on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, PC, and of course the Nintendo Switch.
Oh yeah. So this was it all released all at the same time?
The Xbox One version was delayed by 2 weeks.
Oh, okay. That's okay.
And it was not my fault.
Well, but you took care of it. You fired the person that it was their fault.
No, of course not.
Yeah. No, just kidding. Yeah. So where did this project begin? I mean, like, how many games have you done? Is this your first game? Is this?
Yeah, this is the first game. I founded Bonus Level Entertainment 2 years ago together with my ex-boss, with the boss of the company I worked for 10 years ago, Independent Art Software. And we founded Bonus Level Entertainment, but I've been working in the games industry for over 10 years. So, yeah,
I'm curious. What have you been doing?
So my first job was at Independent Art Software, the company that is the co-developer of Fox and Forest. And there I've been doing 3D animation and level design. Then I went to a film company for 1.5 years, and I was doing biz dev for their games because they have a lot of licenses, and I was like, dealing out those licenses. And we also made a game for a TV series. And then,
oh wow,
yeah, it wasn't the biggest success, but it was fun, and it was also cool to see like the film industry and have a different look at the games industry as well. With
absolutely, right? Yeah,
explaining everyone that games are not just about killing people. and there's a really funny story. I have this. I mean, they were really cool. Those people at this company, Beta Film, they were very nice to me, but I was like the only nerd. And I have this action figure from Gears of War. Maybe some of you will know it. It's like an action figure where a locust gets his head blown off, and it's there's the action figure, but the head is just like blood spreading around. And when I put the action figure on my desk, of course, right, everyone in the games industry has like millions of action figures on the desk. When I put it there, then like every now and then for the whole day, people from the company came to my office asking some unnecessary question because they all wanted to see that crazy action figure.
Perfect. That's amazing.
Yeah, but it was a good time, and made good friends there in contact.
Oh yeah, that's what it's all about, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah. And then from there is
from there I went to Deep Silver, doing marketing. I was the international senior brand manager for 3.5 years, doing like the global brand management for brands like Dead Island, and then later on Saints Row and Sacred, Risen, and so on.
Wow, man, look at you.
Yeah, thanks.
So yeah, you've done a lot. You've been around the industry almost in every aspect of it.
Yeah, exactly. And this is why 3 years ago I thought, hey, now I think I know everything. Of course, I do not know everything.
Right.
But I felt confident enough to finally make my dream come true, to make my own game, my own Super Nintendo style game. And so, yeah, the idea of Fox and Forest was born. I found a partner and a co-developer, and then we, went on Kickstarter to make a Kickstarter campaign for Fox and Forest.
Oh, so this was a Kickstarter game.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So it must have been a success.
Yes, it was actually pretty cool. We had the campaign in August 2016.
Mm-hmm.
No, sorry. Yes, and We raised over 107,000 US dollars.
Wow.
And yeah, that wasn't enough to make the game. We then also
Yeah, I was like, that was about a tenth of what you needed.
nah, not a tenth, but it wasn't everything. So we also had needed to find an investor, and then we found a really cool publisher, Eurovideo, who shared the same passion and the same ideas. And yeah, that's like the business background of Fox and Forest.
Yeah,
and it all came together.
Yeah, so I mean, you know, being around, working on so many new games, doing all, you know, being in the business, you just wanted to go back to make a game when games used to be good.
Exactly, yeah, good and challenging, and yeah, it's. I mean, this is what Fox and Forest is about. It's like also about exploring the world yourself, finding out stuff yourself, right? Like, we've got a hub. Yeah, sorry. Please.
No, yeah, this is a perfect segue into the actual gameplay of the game, which, as you said, it is challenging. One of the biggest things, like, it's punishing. You know, I mean, making your way through the levels. If you die or if you fall down a hole, you got to start from where either if you paid the badger or
exactly.
not. And there's the one rule that Casey and I learned when playing is you should always pay the dang badger.
Exactly.
Retro.
Retro the badger, exactly. He's like a retro fan like we are, and he's in the game, and you have to pay him to activate his checkpoints. And we decided this because we wanted to reward risk taking. So people who want to have like a bigger challenge, you know, they can take a bigger risk, and people who want to play it safe, they have to pay him. But we made sure that it's not too expensive, especially in the earlier levels. It's easy, you know. You just pay him a little amount of money, and we'll still have enough money left to spend and upgrade your character in the hub area.
Yeah, it reminds me a lot of like Shovel Knight's levels, but in a different spin on it, where you can break the checkpoints and get money out of them.
Exactly.
But and this time you're just depositing money for Retro, who somehow is at every checkpoint. He's a little he's like the merchant from Resident Evil 4. It's like I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know how he gets there. Oh,
I love it. Yeah. Not enough cash.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually playing Resident Evil 4 at the moment. I love this game so much. I play it every year once. And it's this time of the year again.
Yep. Oh yeah. I love those. It's the annual games. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The annual games.
Yeah, I totally get you. Well, I mean, so let's talk about your favorite games growing up. I would love to know, you know, what you grew up on. What is your favorite, you know, like your favorite games, like your top 3 or top 5 or whatever, you know?
Okay, my top 3 games are Final Fantasy VI.
Okay.
Then Super Ghouls and Ghosts, which was also a main source of inspiration for Fox and Forest. This is also where the name comes from. And then, of course, Resident Evil 4.
Well, there you go. That's a perfect trio of games. So yeah, so very Nintendo focused there. You know, Fox and Forest, it's definitely a way more playable than Super Ghouls and Ghosts.
Oh, thanks.
Super Ghouls and Ghosts is a very hard game. I just played it for the first time on the SNES Classic.
Yes,
actually, and it's a very cool game. And but I'm more of a Gargoyle's Quest kind of guy.
Ah, yeah, Gargoyle's Quest. And
that's actually
Demon's Quest.
Oh yeah.
Demon's Quest is so good. It's totally underrated. It's such a cool game.
Yes, and it's so pretty. Oh my goodness, that game is just those Capcom games. I wish they would make some more of those. I just played through that trilogy last year, and it was amazing. I loved those Game Boy games are really cool, and then the SNES game.
You know, like, because you mentioned Capcom, this is exactly the style we were going for Fox and Forest, and it wasn't. It was a hard task to actually understand and find the right style, but our graphic artists, they made a really good job, and this is what we went for the Capcom Super Nintendo games.
I mean, that is the absolute number one thing that anyone is going to be impressed by with this game at first glance. It is the jaw-dropping, colorful visuals that just are just everywhere throughout the game, from the map of the game to the what's the tree called?
Season tree.
The season tree, right? How could I forget that? Yeah, the season tree.
It's not the mana tree; it's the season tree.
yeah. There you go. Casey said that, like, on our podcast before when we talked about it, that, like, that's like one of the most beautiful things he's ever seen in a video game. So, I mean, it really, the game is absolutely gorgeous, and the gameplay mixed together. I mean, it's funny how you mentioned your 3 favorite games, and I think that there's a little of those games in all of them in this game. I mean, the difficulty is really challenging and hard, and it's also an interesting setup for a game. How it's kind of plays a little like it's like a level-based Metroidvania almost, because of the going back into the levels to collect things that you can now access because you have new upgrades for yourself.
Exactly. This is what was our vision. As you said, a level-based Metroidvania style of game. You know, with an overview map, and we also have this hub area. And already after you've beaten the first level, right, you can go into the hub area and already buy a super cool upgrade, the double jump spin attack. So when you are going back into level number 1, once you bought this double jump spin attack, it will already be way easier, right? Because you can do this cool spin attack when double jumping. And this was our philosophy, right? That yes, there is some backtracking, because we think it's interesting to, you know, when there are secrets and super secrets to find out, and when you have to find your own way. But because you're constantly upgrading, either by buying stuff or by being rewarded better shots after beating the bosses of the game, you know, going back to other level is a lot of fun. And when the first level is challenging when you play it for the first time, but when you go back to it like a couple of levels later, it's going to be a piece of cake. You know, you've got your spread shot, you've got the double jump spin attack, and then you can just, you know, slice through the enemies and just concentrate on finding where the magic seeds are hidden.
It's so empowering, and it's like you said, like when you first start the game, it's like almost the first level is the hardest. I mean, it's a tough challenge, and you make your way through, and you're like, man, this game's actually pretty freaking hard. And then you collect your gold, and then you start unlocking these new. I was like, oh, now I can do this, you know. No, okay, now I can attack when I double jump, and now I can do this, and then it's like, okay, and it's this really good, you know, ups and downs of skill where you feel like you're in control, and then you finally like, okay, I'm a boss at this game now, and now I can own everything here, and it's a wonderful feeling. And to be honest, Rupert, there's always a point, you know, when games are really special to me, there's a point where it clicks. And I go, oh, I really love this. And you know that feeling, I don't know if you get that feeling when playing games, but it's like, there's a moment. And the moment was when I unlocked the one of the moves, and I used it in the game, and it's like, oh, now I can do this. This is amazing, you know? So you succeeded in your vision, is what I'm trying to say.
I'm very, very happy that you say this. It means a lot to me, because, you know, this is like people who are willing to dig into the game and who are like core gamers. For them, it's the right thing. But we see that for like more casual gamers, and also in some reviews, people don't like this. You know, they say, hey, I have a double jump. Why can't I attack? This game is broken. And then after the first level, they give you the bad rating and don't care about it anymore. Also on Steam, sadly. But, you know, if you're smart enough to you know, go to the hub area and buy the new attack, then, you know, it's really rewarding. And it's the feeling I had when I was importing the Super Famicom with my brother when I was like 13 years old, right?
Yes.
You know, the games were Japanese, and I couldn't read the description or anything. And of course, obviously, Super Ghosts and Ghosts was one of our first games we had, together with F-Zero and Mario 4. And you know, we couldn't read any text in Mario 4, for example. And then when you find out stuff yourself, it's so rewarding, it's so cool. And this is the feeling that we wanted to, you know, that we wanted to go for with Fox and Forest.
I love how you call Mario World Mario 4. You're the first person in the world I've ever heard it called Mario 4. That's amazing.
But it says it on the package on Japanese.
I know. No, I know. It's great. I never hear it say Mario 4. That's awesome. Yes. I mean, going back to what you're saying, I mean, you of course know the generation we're living in. People need hand holding. People need people like, well, they don't need it, but they think they want it. They don't want to stop and work for something to appreciate, what they've worked at, which is, I think, what makes the best games. It's all about the valleys and the hills. I think just in game design in general, there has to be boring parts. I mean, quote unquote, boring parts or difficult parts that you need to work past. And then once you get through, it makes you appreciate the good stuff. And it's really a complete design philosophy to really pull everything together so that you can have this, this dynamic range of emotions while you're playing, so that it's not just a straight road. It's a curvy road. It's an interesting road,
Yes.
And I think that, and that's what I got with Fox and Forest. So, it's a really cool game. Before we stop talking about the game, I want to know, how was your experience directing it? I mean, this was your first direction, right?
Yes, it was the first game as game director, and
what are some interesting things that you noticed as a director? What are the things you didn't expect that happened?
Well, okay, so after I quit my job at Deep Silver, I took myself a half a year off and just sat down and prepared an over 100 pages document, which was a game design overview document with all the things you need for designing a game, with second to second, minute to minute, hour to hour gameplay mechanics. And this document also included marketing stuff with target audience and competitors and so on.
Did you say you wrote it?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
And
cool.
It really took me a long time, and I'm glad I took the time, right? Because I had a clear vision from the beginning on. And then thankfully I found the perfect team, the cool people from Independent Art Software that shared this vision and that went with me down the road to finish it. And I have to say, Fox and Frost turned out 80-90% exactly how the documentation was 2 years ago.
Amazing. Congratulations, because that is one of the hardest things in game development is as developing, is to just trying to nail down that initial goal instead of being sidetracked with so many other ideas and possibilities, and then just ending up not getting the project done.
Thanks. Yeah. So thank you very much. I'm really happy, and now we have to see that hopefully Fox and Forest will sell way more copies, even more, that we can continue making 16-bit style games. And with the difficulty, right? I mean, with 3 difficulty settings. So some people, that complain that maybe the first level is too hard, you can always play on easy, and then it will be like a piece of cake. So.
Right.
I just hope that this difficulty and also this, forcing people to really dig into the game and really spend time with the game would pay off at the end, because it looks like a very light-hearted game, colorful, pixely, but it is a deep experience, and that's exactly what we wanted.
Right. And absolutely. So everyone needs to, if you haven't already, which if they're listening to this podcast, you better have checked out Fox and Forest. But what I'm going to say next is going to sound like the most nerdy Nintendo fanboy thing, but I got to thinking about it, and it just made too much sense. And I was thinking, Fox and Forest, I could see you walking up. Okay, imagine you're showing this at Bit Summit in Japan, and Miyamoto walks up. Sure, why not? Miyamoto walks up and he goes, "Hey, that's a fox, like Star Fox."
Yes.
and then he goes, "You should make this a Star Fox game," because I was thinking, how cool would it be to have a side-scrolling Star Fox Adventures game, and then you play, and then you can have the different characters and stuff. It could play just like Fox and Forest, and I mean, slight spoilers here for people, but you even have like the shoot 'em up level, you know?
Yes, exactly.
But I mean, like, you could do like a whole, imagine that in an R wing, like set up. I mean, it would be so cool. Like, I was just thinking about it. I'm like, oh, because they never made a, like, you know, a side scrolling Star Fox game.
I'd love to do that. I mean, we would definitely be the perfect company for that, right?
Yes, I know. It's like, it's almost like a shame that, like, I wish that Nintendo, I mean, that Miyamoto would have. I mean, I don't really wish this, maybe in some way, but that he would have come into your studio and turned the, or what do you flip the table? What do they say? Flip the tea tables or whatever they say. And he's like, you know, yeah, it's just kind of like the dinosaur planet with Star Fox Adventures for the GameCube.
I love the Star Fox Adventures game. It was so good by Rare.
Yeah.
The last good game by Rare.
Oh, yeah. I would probably agree with that. You know, the thing with me, I'm not, and this isn't to put down. I'm just not. I've never been a big Rare guy. I mean, outside of Donkey Kong Country and like GoldenEye, I never played the other games. It's not that I didn't like them. I just never played them growing up. Like, I've never played Banjo-Kazooie.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
And honestly, going back to Rare games without that nostalgic, like real nostalgic factor, outside of Donkey Kong. I mean, Donkey Kong is one of my favorite games of all time, Donkey Kong Country. But going back, it doesn't. I can't get into them as much as. But anyway,
it was the first generation of 3D games with the PlayStation 1 and the Nintendo 64. I mean, yeah, it's true. The graphics just don't look so good, and I mean, they're brilliant games,
gameplay can be
and of course, Ocarina of Time, one of the best games ever made, right?
Oh yeah.
But yes, I can understand this. If you haven't played these games back then, then it's hard, you know.
Well, and I'm just gonna be full honestly. I mean, this might make people hate me, but I mean, I've already said this on the podcast. But like, I didn't even play Super Mario 64 when it came out. I wasn't into video games. Well, I think I was 4 or 5 when that came out. So anyway, but I just never grew up playing that, and it's even hard for me to go back to that game. So I'm not being like biased.
Nintendo DS maybe, but
yeah. Or I'll just play Super Mario 3D Land, which is one of the best games ever.
Exactly.
But no, I'm just kidding. I totally respect 64. I totally respect all of Rare's old games and stuff like that. But anyway, what I was trying to say is that Star Fox and Forest would be a really cool and awesome game. Couldn't you totally see it?
Yeah, of course, totally. I think it would be really cool.
Yeah.
And as you said, we have to shoot 'em up stages as well, right? Because
yes.
I think the Super Nintendo, that's amazing, was such a good console also for shoot 'em up. Even so, the Super Nintendo had the CPU problems. Like, developers at that time managed to go around it, and there's so many cool shoot 'em ups on the Super Nintendo, and they have also aged really well. So you can play them today, and they are as much fun, like best shoot 'em ups ever, like XLA, R-Type 3, Parodius, Super LSD. They're so good, and I love these games. And so I thought, hey, come on, it's my first 16-bit game, and I really want to do like a shoot 'em up section there as well.
I love the fire shoot 'em up level. Oh, it is so fun and so cool. And
that's nice.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And so good. Now, that's the thing. I mean, the good SNES games are just timeless. I mean, it's just a timeless system. Yeah. You know. I mean, it's just like it is the peak. You know. So I love that Fox and Forest really went for that, and that's why I dig it so much, because I dig pixel art because of that, because of the timelessness, and because it just looks so tight and nice. And if people love that, they need to check out Fox and Forests, because it's a wonderful game. And yes, Rupert, I want to thank you so much for coming on to the Talk Nintendo podcast.
Thank you so much. It was great talking to you. And thank you so much for your passion about Fox and Forest. It's really cool.
Oh, yes. I love this game. Casey and I love this game. I mean, this was definitely one of our favorite games when we met you at PAX. Really left an impression with us, and it's so much fun to see. It's so good to meet the developer, to know that, just to get to know people and to see their passions and stuff. I'm so happy that you got to actually live the dream and and release a product like, you know, like product of your dreams. So now you just need to put it on an SNES cart. And
that would be fun.
actually, have you done that? Like just for fun? Like just you should print off a little label and put it on an SNES.
No, we haven't done it for fun.
You haven't done that? I can't believe that.
Yeah, I mean, we did a mock-up at least.
Oh man, I might just have to do that and send it to you then.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah, it would be so cool.
Thanks, Kerry. That would be coolest thing ever.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But it would like take over 100 of the biggest Super Nintendo cartridges at that time to fit Fox and Forest on.
Right.
So we stick to all the limitations of the Super Nintendo, but obviously the file size is the only problem.
Yeah. Oh, you just need an SNES. You just get one that like literally is like 10 times as like imagine an SNES cart that's like 10 times as tall. You can just put it in there. But yes, yeah, awesome. Well, thank you so much, Rupert. It's been so much fun talking to you and talk about Fox and Forest. It is available now on the Switch. How much is Fox and Forest?
$19.99.
$19.99. It's, you know how much SNES games were when they came out?
Yeah, of course. The SNES games were like for me that I had to import the games from Japan, right? Or the US. They were sometimes 100 euros per cartridge.
100 euros.
Yeah, and if you bought the regular versions in the stores for the PAL, you know, but PAL was 19.7% slower. They were between 50 and 60 euros.
Oh, man, what is the deal with PAL? Jeez, I feel so bad for you Europeans. I can't believe you have to go through that.
Don't feel bad for me. I imported all consoles, the Super Nintendo, then the Nintendo 64, etc.
Yep. Well, you had to, but I still feel bad because now you have to pay all that extra stuff. But I don't feel bad for you. Look at you. You made a Super Nintendo game, so you're fine. But okay, yeah. So $19.99 on the Switch. Buy it on the Switch because that's obviously the best platform. It's a Nintendo platform.
Yes, please support us.
You can play it.
Yes, please, and please support us or like. If you like it, tell your friends about it because we really want to continue making cool 16-bit games. And I have got a super crazy, amazing idea, and it just has to be come real one day. So
yes,
let's do it.
And yeah, I mean, obviously, Super Fox and Forest has to come out.
And Super Fox and Forest, exactly.
Yeah. or Rick's Quest. No, Retro's Quest.
Retro's Quest, yeah.
Quest. And it can play like Gargoyle's Quest.
Yeah, Gargoyles. Maybe you've already found the point here.
I don't know. I have
much.
I have the talent to do this with game development. No, yeah. But yeah, support him. I want more of Fox and Forest. I want more from Bonus Level Entertainment. And yes, we will end it there because we could keep talking on and on and on. But
all right, thanks,
Rupert
Barry.
has to get back to work. Absolutely.
Thanks everyone, and thanks everyone for listening.
Yes, absolutely. See you later.
Bye, later.
Woo-wee, gotta love Rupert.
Whew, that was a brutal day of work, Perry.
Hey, what? Well, see, I was here chatting away.
Yep, I wish
you
I was
missed out on a good
chit-chatting.
convo. Yep. I know, but you're a big...
You loiterer.
As John, the guy that I'm sending some stuff to in Australia, as he says, you're a notorious JIM.
Notorious JIM, I love it.
Isn't that great?
Speaking of notorious JIM, you got some Craigslist roundup for us, don't you?
Yes, it's Craigslist Roundup time.
Craigslist Roundup.
I'm getting tired of all this snapping case.
I only had one hand.
Yeah.
I was drinking a sip of my water. I was like, oh no! You want to do it again?
No, that's fine.
Yeah, it's like...
All right. That's what I do all the time. All right, so I got one little pickup. Actually, literally right before we started recording, I was late because they were late, but that's okay. That's how.
Blame it on the other person,
sometimes.
why don't you?
I have the text to prove it. They even offered me less money because
Less?
I had to wait a little bit. Or they offered.
To
pay
sell
less.
it for. And you didn't say yes?
Nah, I didn't have the change to do that. Anyway, let me say. So, I bought. You know the movie We Bought a Zoo.
Wait, what?
You know, you know the movie We Bought a Zoo.
No.
You've never heard of that movie?
No.
All right. Well, I was gonna say I bought a Wii U.
Ah, I
And
see
that
what
was
you
the
did
joke.
there.
But yeah, I bought a Wii U. What in the heck? A Wii U?
You feeling all right, dude?
Yeah. I was playing Star Fox Zero, and I just thought, let's get another one of these.
I need all the Wii U's.
Yeah, and actually, yeah. So I got it for $80, and it's a white one, which I'm so happy because I have the black one, you know.
It's
the
so
white
funny. We were chatting a little bit before, and we said, "Wait a second," and just laughing at like what a horrible deal it was to buy that white Wii U.
That basic. Yeah, it looked cool though, but yes, it was a bad deal.
See, I don't know. The white just doesn't look that good to me.
Oh, I love the white.
I don't know. I think
love
the black one looks way more sleek, which is funny because the gamepad is like the opposite of sleek.
Awesome. No, it's not. It's not the opposite.
You're telling me that you're gonna look at that gamepad and the word that's gonna come to your mind
right now, and it's
is
gorgeous.
sleek?
Dude, I'm looking at it right now. I'm literally staring at it because it's so pretty. I love the gamepad, and it's so comfortable.
But would you ever?
And it has the best D-pad ever.
But would you ever use the word sleek to describe the gamepad?
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say sleek.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I would say sleek. It's totally sleek.
All right.
Yeah, it's awesome. And like I said, the best D-pad ever.
Clunky.
We should do a new Super Mario Bros. U or Luigi challenge.
I don't have Luigi actually.
Okay, we can do the original then.
If you want to get your butt kicked, I'm down.
Anyway, yeah, so I picked it up. I actually got it for streaming and recording so I could put it in my office.
I was waiting for you to be like, I already have a buyer lined up. He's gonna pay me $8,000 for it.
No, not 8,000. No, I don't have a buyer. I'm gonna keep it and use it because it's convenient. So, anywho, that's it for my Craigslist roundup, and that's it for this super ridiculously long show that we need to end now.
Yes. Once again, I would like to thank Rupert and Martino for joining us on our interviews, as well as Grizzle, and that's the name I'm sticking with, just because
Grizzle.
To say it all,
Sis.
to say it all, you know, I hope he's not offended by his cut down to Grizzle again for the giveaway.
No.
I should have mentioned with the giveaway,
cool.
we'll be announcing the winner next week. So get your comments in over the weekend, and we will pick one winner next week. Check us over on Talk Nintendo Pod. That's Talk Nintendo
POD.
And I think I have.
No, hold on. I
said
just gotta say one last thing.
No,
let's just
wrap it up right now. We don't need to.
I'm gonna show one last thing. Go get SpiritSphere DX. Go buy it. Go buy Fox and Forests right now. And thank you so much, Grills Von Sizzle, for your generous thing. It is so nice of you to do that, to do a giveaway for us. So thank you so much. I just wanted to say that again.
Boom. And until next
right.
time, we'll see you next
Party
week.
on, Wayne.
Party on, Gordon. Well, look at this guy with his double grills.